Disney Wiki. Oh my god. Wait, first things first. Alignment good.
Glad to know. Why the fuck?
Goal to be close to Max. Succeeded.
Did she though?
I don't know. Enemy.
Wait. I need.
Enemies principal Mazer presumed.
Who wrote this wiki?
Dislikes her father's attitude toward Max. Canceled dates. Lies.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful appearances. A Goofy movie. House of Mouse.
Oh yeah, I remember this episode actually.
I wouldn't even say that Roxanne's alignment is good. She's probably more portrayed as neutral.
Yeah.
But I guess I probably only have good and evil.
Not wanting to take over the world automatically makes you good in Disney eyes.
Welcome to Direct-to-Video. VHS? Andy's not here because for some reason we didn't record an intro the first time around. And because he's not here, I can complain about the fact that there's something going on with his fire alarm, which made a lot of beeps on his side of the recording that I'm fairly sure I edited out completely. But if you hear a random beep, it might be that. It might be that. Anyway, enjoy.
I'm just going to go through some history just real quick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just some basic stuff, because I feel like a lot of people don't realize the fact that Goof Troop was a television show.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen an episode. I mean, I did know that, but I feel like it's not as popular as DuckTales.
Definitely not. Although it is in the same vein as DuckTales, it's about Goofy. It does what DuckTales in effect did, where it's like, here's our new generation of kid accomplice. Is that a good word?
Kid accomplice?
Is that not the right word I'm looking for? What word am I looking for? Just the next generation, right?
Like a sidekick type thing?
Yeah. So, although I will say that DuckTales, I think, had more of a kind of like a Indiana Jones adventure vibe. I think Goof Troop was just like a father-son romp.
Goof Troop was like a sitcom, and DuckTales, was like an Indiana Jones thing. In fact, if I'm remembering right, I remember reading this forever ago. I think the original DuckTales comics from like the 30s, I think Indiana Jones ripped some of those off.
That's hilarious.
And then the DuckTales TV show ripped off Indiana Jones, so it sort of comes full circle.
I find it really funny. The new DuckTales seems to be going for more of a kind of a mystery, less focused on the treasure and more focused on this the mystery and adventure aspect, which I think is fun. Although I think that's because in the original DuckTales, you had Scrooge McDuck was kind of at his prime, and in the new DuckTales, we have like a washed out Scrooge McDuck, like nobody knows who he is anymore.
Well, they all know who he is, but it's like he's not Scrooge McDuck anymore.
Yeah,
he was somebody big 10 or 20 years ago or something.
Yeah, he was the man formerly known as Scrooge McDuck. And he's got to get it back. He's got to get his groove back. The premise of the show is of the Goof Troop was just that Goofy has to move back to his hometown with his son, Max. And they end up moving in next to Goofy's old friend, Pete, and Pete's wife, Peg, and their kids.
I forgot Pete had a wife in the show because she's not in either of the movies.
She's a non-entity in the movies, and I don't know why.
Wild.
To
be fair, Pete is barely in the second movie.
Yeah. And he's kind of barely in the first one.
Yeah, but he is. I actually love Pete in the first one because he's like,
he's a foil.
He like walks in to be a villain and then leaves. And so he like kicks off every problem that Goofy and his son have.
And we'll get to it, but I find it very interesting that there is no villain in the first Goofy movie, right? Like,
right, not really. They're not trying to overcome Pete. But yeah, it's about their relationship and not about winning or beating something.
Yeah, there's no competitive stake, which I think is... Oh, I guess we'll talk about it when we get there. So Goof Troop aired from, let's see here, September to December 5th, 1992. It's a hell of a long time ago. And a Goofy movie was
Whoa.
released
Did you say September to December?
September to December 5th.
That's it?
Yeah, it had a total of 2 seasons. I assume one for each. Actually, how the fuck does that even work?
Yeah, I don't know. That's
September to December 5th. I feel like. Oh yeah! Wow. Okay, I see here. What the? How does this work? I'm trying to figure out because it says here that season 1 has 65 episodes. It aired from September 5th,
That's
1992
not possible.
to December 4th, 1992. But then season 2 had 13 episodes and it aired from September 12th, 1992 to December 5th, 1992. I feel like my dates are messed up here.
Something must be wrong.
Yeah, this is definitely not correct.
That's fine, but there's 70 episodes of Goof Troop, it sounds like.
There is a lot of episodes of Goof Troop. And from what I can tell, it was one of those TV shows that definitely had a kind of a family following. The show was kind of just kind of the misadventures of father and son trying to get adjusted to this new life. So a Goofy movie kind of picks up as kind of an epilogue to the show, whereas the show had Max when he was a kid. A Goofy movie has Max when he is a teenager in the full swing of teenagedom. If you want to get into it, we can get into it.
Yeah, let's really hit it hard with Max's weird ass dream.
Yeah, so
it's kind of a strong I thought it was a weird dream when it was just like him in a field and a girl he liked, and then it gets weirder. And I kind of love it.
It's one of the it really tells you Max's biggest fear, which is being his dad. Which I think a lot of teenagers who were close to their fathers as kids and kind of grow apart in that, age of trying to do their own thing, try not to be like their dad, because nobody's dad is cool.
He has a dad who is so distinctly uncool in such measurable ways.
That his name is literally Goofy. Like, there is...
His name, by the way, I want to stop the podcast right now to talk about this. His name is Goofy, last name Goof.
Goofy Goof, yes.
Which is garbage. I hate it.
I do prefer it to Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. Like, his
but Mickey
name
Mouse
could
and
have
Donald
been
Duck have
Goofy
had
Dog.
those names since inception. But Goofy, I guess in 1992 they decided his last name must be Goof.
Actually, I'm sorry. I'm gonna fill you in because he has had a lot of names. So his first name was Dippy Dog, which sounds like a fake, it sounds like somebody trying to make fun of rapper names.
It sounds like a rapping dog from Invader Zim.
His next name was George G. Geef, which is worse.
That's not better.
Goofus D. Dog.
Okay.
Which is
Goofy for short. I get it. Sort of like how Scooby Doo's name is Scoobert Doo.
So, I think now his name is officially GG Goof. Lord knows what the GG stands for, with Goofy being his nickname.
Okay.
So everyone just calls him Goofy.
Now, see, yes, if his first name is something different, and his last name is Goof, and everybody calls him Goofy, that's fine. The idea of him being named Goofy Goof really rubs me the wrong way.
Okay, so it might be that the first G just stands for Goofy.
Goofy?
Yeah, or Gooford. I don't like this. This is terrible.
This is bad.
This character has been around for almost a century, and I think they still need to really workshop this name situation.
Doesn't have a damn name.
Yeah, why didn't they just... I'm curious as to why they didn't just go with Goofy Dog. Like, you have Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck. I guess it's because it's not alliterative, and they want it to be alliterative, right? Like...
Yeah, but heck, they could have named him Daffy. This was before Daffy.
Daffy Dog? No. Maybe if they really wanted to go... Well, because he started as Dippy Dog. I don't understand why that changed.
I hate it, though.
I understand, but I feel like we hate it now because we're used to Goofy, right?
We wouldn't have hated it in the 30s.
Or we wouldn't have hated it if they just stuck to it.
This seems like a rabbit hole we could go down that we shouldn't.
Well, we're gonna have to talk about the entire aspect of Goofy as a character, because this, I feel like you can't make this movie with any of the other of the triumvirate, right? That is
Sure.
Goofy, Mickey, and Donald. You can only do this with Goofy, which is weird to me, and we'll get to that.
Goofy's the only one who has really ever been
A father.
or like thought of as a father, or had that, because the other ones get uncled. You know, there are...
Does Mickey get uncled?
Mickey in the comics had a sister who had kids, but I think in the cartoons, they're always like orphans.
Sorry,
but they're like little mouse orphans that call him Uncle Mickey in some of the cartoons.
Oh, okay. Morty and Ferdy Field Mouse.
Yeah, they're in some of the older ones. And
apparently Oswald the Lucky Rabbit is Mickey's older half-brother now.
Well, you didn't play Disney's Epic Mickey?
No, I didn't. I didn't own a Wii when that game came out, and by the time I did own a Wii, the time had passed.
The point of that game was that Mickey goes to the like inverse Disneyland where all the forgotten characters live.
Oh my god, that sounds dope, actually.
It's pretty fun. I know it got a lot of like flack, but it's not a bad story and a pretty okay game itself. And he meets Oswald, who is like this little shit.
Oh my god, this game was directed by Warren Spector.
Who's always messing with him, and it's sort of revealed that Oswald was Mickey before Mickey was, and that was the whole thing. That he's basically his brother.
That's cool. I like that. That's some good lore.
So Max wakes up after turning into his father, and then wakes up screaming. I want to talk for a brief second about the fact that he has a Mickey Mouse phone.
This movie has a couple of moments that are super weird, because later in the movie, Goofy mentions that he's going to go on a trip with his best friend, and Max immediately says, "Oh, Donald Duck."
Oh, Donald Duck? Yeah.
So if Donald Duck and Goofy are best friends, is Mickey just kind of like what's his role in this?
Well, we see Mickey and Donald going hitchhiking
concert.
Too.
Yeah, and they're at the concert.
And they're at the concert,
as well.
Of course they are, because everybody in that first scene ends up at the concert.
The concert, yeah.
But I have to assume that the Mickey Mouse phone was like a gift from the actual Mickey Mouse at one point.
That's the thing.
Because this asshole, if you knew Mickey Mouse in real life, you know he'd be giving out merch.
Of course. He'd be giving people his own merch left and right. And he'd be super humble about it, right? But
I don't think he'd be a big jerk about it, but I think eventually all of his friends would own all the stuff with his face on it, and everybody else would be like, I don't feel like I can throw this out.
Yeah, exactly. You can't. It'd be like, because he'd come around and it'd be Christmas, and he'd be like, oh, what happened to the Mickey Mouse phone I gave you? Oh, it broke, and I had to toss it, unfortunately. Be like, oh, well, now I know what to get you next Christmas. And you'd be like,
yeah, exactly.
Fuck. Great. Right, so you gotta keep it.
And, like, he probably has some really cool stuff. Like, here's a still from, this would be so fucking funny, Andy, if I could think of the name of...
Steamboat Willie?
Steamboat Willie, thank you, God.
I could hear you. I could hear you struggling. I could hear your energy, reaching out, trying to find the name of Mickey Mouse's first cartoon.
But he gets you, still a Steamboat Willie, and, yeah, that's cool. But also, maybe you didn't actually want it, but now you have it, and you can't not have it anymore.
You can't not have it. Hey, legit, no joke, I would kill, I would commit crimes to get my hand. Not even own it, but just to, look at it in person, in real life. That shit is, history, man.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's not a good example. A Mickey Mouse phone, though, is definitely a good example, because I don't want a Mickey Mouse phone.
Yeah, it's such a statement.
And also, it doesn't go with anything, right? But I do want to point out, right, that, it seems to me like Goofy had to leave his friendship to focus on his son.
So, what I was thinking about is the sort of kayfabe of the Mickey Mouse cartoons, where it's it opens and it's starring Mickey Mouse or starring Mickey, Donald, and Goofy or something. So the kayfabe is that they're actors,
yeah,
right? So, did Goofy have to sort of give up his acting career?
To focus on his son. I think so.
Focus on his son? I guess?
Well, we're getting to this a lot sooner than I wanted to, but this does beg the question then, what happened to Max's mom? Because there are no pictures of her in their house.
She doesn't exist. It's crazy.
And so...
They had almost 100 episodes and 2 movies.
And they never address it. I just assume that... Because there's a photo in the... There's a photo in an extremely Goofy movie. It's there for like a second of Goofy holding like a swaddled baby Max in his arms. No one else is around him. Not even like a silhouette with a hidden face. There's nothing.
Maybe Goofy produces asexually.
Oh, you think maybe he just kind of splits like a cell?
Yeah, like Max came off as a bud.
Gross.
It's just like his pinky grew really big one day.
I was thinking that maybe that's what that kind of like little knob in his head was.
Oh, cool.
I hate this. I would rather tragedy than this scenario.
Tragedy would be fine if there was like a picture of her, or if somebody said, or if Goofy said like, it's been hard raising you on your own, or something, some reference to the fact that he's a single dad, and not that,
and not nothing,
and not nothing, because that's what it is. It's nothing, and it doesn't. It's not like the Bambi movie that we just watched where they needed to talk about it. It's more like it's just so weird that he doesn't have a mom.
The thing is, right, and I think this is what I think it is. Is that had they brought in a character and said, this is Max's mom, then they are inadvertently saying, Goofy fucked this person. And they produced a child. And I just don't think Disney was ready. I don't think anybody's ready for that.
You know what?
As long as
I'll
it's a
stand
mystery,
here and I'll say I am ready for it.
You're ready?
I think it's okay that Goofy fucks.
I do too. But you have to remember, this is 1992. This is over 20 years ago. I don't think the world was ready then. So
such a backwards planet.
We are 10 minutes into this, not even 10 minutes into this movie. So,
but we talked about a lot of the important stuff already.
Yeah, so I guess now we just have to get through the rest of it. So we see Max's kind of stereotypical day in high school, and he's basically kind of a nobody, and he wants to be somebody. And this is classic like 80s coming of age.
Yeah.
101, right? Like we get to see him. Also, this movie's a musical, and it has musical segments. They are not worth talking about because they are not great, but they're also not bad. But they happen.
Yeah, okay. So the musical segments are part of what this movie. They're part of what really solidify it to me as a movie of the 90s. Everything in this movie is so 90s, it's almost hilarious.
There is a moment later in the film where Max is staring at the water and playing with a stick, and in my head I was like, oh, there's no way they're going to do the Lion King thing, right? Like, that would be too much. That would make this movie too 90s. But sure enough, they fucking did it. They did it, and I was like, wow. This might be the first... Actually, wait. Lion King came out in 1994.
Yeah, but did this movie come out in 1992, or is that the show?
Okay, this movie came out in 1995. Oof. All right, we're good.
Sense.
I was going to say, wait a minute. But no, we're good. So yeah, this movie... I think this movie might be the first movie to have done that homage.
To rip off the Lion King?
This might be the first Disney movie to rip off the Lion King's looking into the... Because every other Disney sequel does it.
Max runs into, I want to say, Roxanne.
Yes.
And he is, like, really nervous, and he thinks he's a spaz because he couldn't think of anything to say, but he also fucking runs.
So that's the thing, right?
Which is where I would say he went wrong. It's okay. Because you can be endearing if you're, like, babbling to a girl, but she's gonna get some ideas about what you think of her if you fucking ball.
Well, no, because
she's gonna be like, oh, I guess he hates me.
No, so here's the thing, right, is he lets out a yuck And immediately his reaction is to, like, cover his mouth like he said something indecent and basically pull, like, a Phantom of the Opera, like, don't look at me, I'm a hideous, and just runs away. So I feel like if I was Roxanne in that situation, my thought wouldn't be, oh, he hates me. My thought would be, man, that kid's going through some shit.
That's not better, necessarily.
Definitely not. It definitely...
If you're trying to start a romantic connection.
With somebody, yeah. It's definitely, like, they're starting off on the wrong foot and there's running away from somebody without saying a goddamn word. But it's okay, because Max has a plan that will not only endear him to Roxanne, but also make him the coolest kid in town. And this plan is the craziest goddamn...
It's like a crazy end of the year stunt, but also there are a couple things I want to talk about with it, which is one, Max is not a senior. He has to go back to this school next year.
Next year, right?
And two, it fucking works. Everybody thinks he's the fucking coolest after this stunt.
That's the thing, right? Is I thought, because I haven't seen this movie in a long time, I was thinking, oh, so the rest of this movie is going to be, how am I going to get Roxanne to like me? But no, he fucking accomplishes that before we even get to anything, because that's not what this movie's about.
Yeah.
This movie's not about romance. So we need to get it out of the way. The romance is the inciting incident. It's the thing that gets Max to act out.
Romance is kind of the MacGuffin of this movie, where it's a thing he's chasing after, but it's not the focus.
Yeah, it's the inciting incident, right? It's the thing that gets him to do what he does throughout the entire film.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that really cool, that this movie is willing to focus in on something that we'll talk about in the next movie, that this movie is willing to focus in on what's important to its story, which isn't Roxanne. It's Max's relationship with his father. They're both at this time in their lives where they don't really understand each other. And neither of them knows how to make that compromise that I think everybody has to make with their parents at some point in their life, where you kind of go 50% of the way, but it's only enough to say, also, I'm going to become my own person after this, by the way. They haven't gotten there yet.
Do you want to talk about this end of the year prank he pulls?
So Max's plan is he's teaming up with his buddy PJ and his buddy Robert Bobby Zimbrewski.
PJ is
Pete's son. Yeah.
Which is important.
And a character from the show as well.
Robert, I don't fucking know anything about Robert. He likes cheese.
He likes cheese, and he's got the worst haircut in the history of mankind. Like, it is really bad. I have a friend in real life who has that haircut.
Wow, called out. All right.
Yeah, and they know who they are, and they're gonna listen to this episode, and I'm gonna get a text about it, but it's okay. The truth will out eventually. Why not now? So they hijack the auditorium stage in the middle of the principal's end of the year speech. So yeah, the principal is Wallace Shawn. As soon as the principal started speaking, I was like, that's that fucking guy from that movie that Tony likes, whose name is escaping me right now for no other reason than to make me look like an idiot. The Princess Bride, thank you. God.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, yeah, it's him. So I was immediately like, oh, that's cool. That's a cool get. I think he's probably, every voice actor in this movie is a voice actor, like that's their job, because they're mostly playing Disney characters.
Right.
So there's no like celebrity get in this movie, I don't think, which is interesting because this movie was released in theaters.
I guess I'm assuming that, yeah, if I was kind of a slow year after all the other shit that Disney had just done around that time.
Mm-hmm. Well, and this was a spring release, right? I think in the 90s, the time for blockbusters was like kind of midsummer, near the end of summer. But this movie was a spring release, so I think they kind of knew that this movie was kind of just going to be its own thing. And it did, and it was successful. It had a box office of $35.3 million, so it did well. I don't think this movie had a budget of over $15 million, so...
So Max hijacks the
stage.
The stage. Drops the principal down a pit, which...
Bold move.
Frankly, that's
some attempted murder right there.
Dresses up as
Powerline,
who is, I guess, the biggest pop star that year.
Yeah.
And performs or lip syncs his biggest song. And does like a bunch of cool stunts, and again, everybody is into it. Literally everybody. They're all here for it.
Nah, man, if I saw this happen at any point in my high school like experience, I would be so down, because A,
I think I would too, but like I expected that when it stopped, everybody would be like, "Oh, it's the nerd kid
it's
or
the
whatever."
nerd kid,
But they weren't. Everybody decided they liked him then, and then for some reason, this is what really annoyed me. Max gets caught, which of course he fucking would.
Yeah, there's no way this plan would have ended well in any capacity.
Right. So he gets caught, and the principal like drags him down to his office. And yeah, I get it, 100%. Absolutely, that happens. I thought that was a given, but Max acts like that's so terrible when the entire school loves him for it. I thought this was the plan.
Well, so that's the thing, right? Is I think the plan was to leave it a mystery, right? So that, you know, it's the Batman thing. He wanted to be able to do the Batman thing. Like, hey, do you want to know my secret identity? I'm the kid who did the crazy thing. Because the thing is at the end, when they find out that it was Max, that thing he did where he points out Roxanne in specific, that's on him now. He can't deny it. So he's in this state of like, I done goofed it. No pun intended.
Fucking liar.
And, well, what else was I gonna say?
You're right, there are only 30 words in the English language.
Listen, man! So, while PJ and Bobby are being chewed out by the principal, Max gets a serendipitous encounter with Roxanne. She basically asks him out, is basically how it ends up.
Look, Max is never gonna get over his crazy amount of nerves.
Yeah, she basically takes the lead at that point.
Yeah, and so they're gonna watch the Powerline concert together at What's-Her-Face's house.
Yeah, I do want to say that I wasn't cool in high school, right?
Sure.
I was never invited to any parties.
Uh-huh.
Had anybody told me, hey man, we're gonna go watch a live concert on TV at this person's house, that sounds boring as hell.
It does, doesn't it?
That sounds like the lamest time. Like, unless they're planning to spend the rest of the time doing other things.
I assume the point is to, like, get drunk or something, right?
Right, but no, because you see later in the movie that this person's house is filled to the brim with teenagers, and all they're doing is watching this concert on TV.
My only thought is that it must be on pay-per-view or something, and nobody else supposed to spend the $5.
Yeah, like, this is a person who has HBO already, so we might as well go watch it at their house. But it's like, but everybody's acting like it's this big party, but it's like, there's no party, it's just the concert. And that's like, maybe 2 hours? I don't know, man. It just seems like such a lame time. Like, I wouldn't want to go to that.
Turning on the TV is sort of what you do when you're winding down on a party, I feel like. You know, like a couple people have gone home, and you're like, you know, the conversation's not really going anywhere, let's just have something on.
Yeah, like, we'll have something on while we, you know, clean up, and it's just you and, like, your 3 friends that helped you organize the party.
Right, or something. You know what? It's a weird party.
It is. It's not a good party.
But Max is invited to it.
He's
by
invited to it, and that's
so.
all that matters. He got his in. He's not Dorcas numero uno anymore. But, unbeknownst to Max, Principal Mazer has called his dad.
Can we cut over to what Goofy is doing, by the way? Because he has a job nobody has anymore. And I love it. It's kind of the perfect job for him.
It's a job that I'm really sad he loses.
Yeah, I'm really depressed about his job in the next movie.
His job in the next movie is raw, man.
It sucks, and I'm okay that he gets fired there.
Yeah, no, same. But yeah, his job in this, he's a photographer, right? Like, he's a baby photographer.
Yeah, he works at like a Sears, back when Sears did this.
Back when Sears existed, by the way, because Sears doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, there are a couple around here.
Oh, man.
They just sell lawnmowers, I guess. But you can't sell lawnmowers out here. What the hell do they sell at Sears?
They sell just home appliances. And
all right, probably got fridges.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, fridges, toolboxes.
But back when Sears was like the place you went to for a bunch of shit.
For everything.
One of the things you went to it for was to get professional or semi-professional pictures taken.
Yeah, like your family, babies, children, school photos, stuff like that, yeah.
And Goofy is good at getting the little kids to smile. It's great. I like it.
I like the idea that Goofy is good with children, and that's why he's not good with a teenager, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it really sets up his character, and it's a characterization of Goofy that I can really buy.
I really like it. And that's the thing, right, is we all know, like, Donald is not good with kids.
Right, well, Donald's not good with anybody. But he definitely wouldn't have, like, the patience for kids, right?
Yeah.
Because he's Donald.
Yeah.
And he gets mad whenever anything happens.
I don't think either Donald or Daisy Duck have room for children in their lives. They both seem like, kind of like Fitzgeralds in that way, you know?
I've never heard Donald Duck and Daisy compared to the Fitzgeralds.
Well, they're both so obsessed with
I get it.
They're not, because they're not obsessed with each other. They're obsessed with themselves.
With themselves, yeah.
And Mickey and Minnie are just, like, they're too big. They're Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, who are also not together anymore.
Mickey likes children like Santa Claus likes children.
Yeah, it's his job.
Yeah.
But, like, once he comes home and puts his slaves away, it's like, you know, it's time for him to do his own thing.
Yep.
Sorry, employees. You said Santa Claus.
I did say Santa Claus. I mean, sure, slaves, whatever. Can we...
So Goofy gets a call from the principal. And...
Oh, also one more thing. Pete is Goofy's boss.
Oh, yeah, Pete. Well, I wouldn't say he's his boss. Definitely his coworker.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt like... I don't know, maybe it's just the energy Pete brings.
Pete definitely gives off boss energy.
It feels like he's like the manager or assistant manager of the store or something. But then he just like does Goofy's job to prove he can do it. So who knows?
So here's the thing is, I think in the original show, Pete is a used car salesman, which is choice.
That works.
Right?
I love it.
Here, it seems to me like him and Goofy have the same job because their whole relationship in the show is that Pete wants to do what Goofy does but better. Pete is convinced that his way of doing things is always superior to Goofy's way of doing things. Like, he's literally the anti-Goof. And I think this movie still has that relationship between them. But like we said before, he's not a villain per se. He's just an antithesis. He's a foil. He is, there has to be an appropriate Shakespeare character for what this is.
I don't know. What happens in Othello?
I was thinking Othello too, but he's definitely not an Iago.
Then I don't know what to tell you, man.
Goofy gets a phone call from the principal. I have started this sentence 5 times, Tony.
Sorry.
Can I finish it this 5th time?
I don't feel like it's entirely my fault.
I don't think it's entirely your fault either, but I'm just letting you know, man, like...
Yeah,
I really feel like
get into the inciting action.
Yeah, because the movie starts after this sentence, Tony. The movie gets to start. So, basically, tells Goofy that his son is he's a fucking criminal. He is going down the criminal path in life. There is no hope for him, and he's going to end up in the electric chair. Which, by the way, is some real fucked up shit to A, say at all, and B, would definitely get him fired.
This guy has no business being an educator.
No.
Are you fucking serious?
Like, he's literally telling this man that his son is destined for capital punishment. Like, that is messed up. Like, I would tell that man to fuck off, right? Like, hey, like, my kid might have problems, but you don't get to say that shit.
I guess my biggest problem with Goofy here is how much he just, like, trusts the bullshit this guy just spewed. You know, sometimes parents listen to the teachers, and sometimes they should.
Mm-hmm.
But also, parents are kind of supposed to be on your side.
Yeah, that's
so, like,
the thing.
If a teacher or a principal's, like, screaming at them, and they get you home, they're like, I just had a very intense conversation. What happened?
Yeah.
And you say, well, I did this thing where I dressed up as Powerline from Powerline, and
you know Powerline.
You know, I was watching it this morning. Whatever. I was on the stage, and I have a
large life-size cardboard cutout of him in my room. That man, that Powerline.
I did, like, cool swings and stuff, and I flirted super hard with this girl. By the way, have a date. And I did throw my principal down a hole when I did it. The hole was meant for people to fall down. Like, that's the point of that.
It was already there. It was built in. So obviously, it was perfectly safe.
So, like, grounded for a week would, I think, be reasonable here. In fact, actually, the quote-unquote punishment that Goofy comes up with is not terrible. I get it, you know? But I wish he'd talked to Max for 2 seconds.
Well, so that's the thing, right, is that Goofy Goofy's, I guess, tragic flaw is that he immediately jumps to a solution without trying to figure out what the problem is. And his solution is going on a road trip so that he can connect with his son the way that his dad connected to him as a kid, which is a dope idea.
I think it's a good idea. And I think even if he had the conversation with Max, he still might come to this conclusion that, like, maybe shit like this wouldn't happen if they were more open with each other and could talk to each other. But the fact that he doesn't try to talk to him really irks me.
It is infuriating. Like, you don't...
Like, as a son, it's infuriating?
Yeah, as a son, it's infuriating. I've had multiple times in my life where I've had to go somewhere with my dad, and I've hated it every fucking time. Even when I have fun, as soon as, like, right, if we get there and I have fun, as soon as I'm back in the car going home, I'm still mad about it. Because I still didn't want to do it. The point isn't the end. The point is the journey, and it's a journey I didn't want to have that day. Right?
Yes, I get what you're saying. I have also had this experience.
It is petulant, but you're a kid, right? Like that's of course you're like that's what kids are.
You get to be petulant.
You get to be petulant. Goofy is all in on going on a fishing trip to Lake Destiny, Idaho. Side note, I find it really weird that they talk about actual states.
Interesting.
Because in the fiction of the movie, Los Angeles is a real place that they're going to.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that in the fiction of the film, all of us are anthropomorphized animals, which means in real life, there is a human Mickey Mouse and a human Donald Duck and a human Goof.
Interesting. And I'm sure I will read some good fan fiction on this.
I think it's a 90s thing. I don't think you could do that today. I think if you were going to make a Mickey Mouse movie of some kind today, you'd have to come up with like a Metropolis or a Star City, USA.
Because God, you've never seen the Muppet movie, have you?
I've seen the new one.
Not the new one. The point is not the new one.
Okay.
In the first Muppet movie, the plot is that they're going to go to LA to try to become stars. And it's supposed to be the story of how the Muppets became stars. So, like, in the kayfabe, I don't know, I kind of get it. Because if Goofy is a sort of a retired actor who moved out to the Midwest, moved back to the Midwest with his son, then I don't know, I understand. I get where it's coming from. If we have established that this is the same Goofy that's in the old cartoons, then the reason he's in the old cartoons is because that was his job at the time.
Okay, I see what you mean. I see what you're putting down. I just don't know. Every time they said Los Angeles, like, a little part of me was like, oh, this is still weird. I'm still, like, the whole movie, every time they said Los Angeles, I was like, man, this is weird.
It's sort of like the Marvel or DC conversation. Like, do you have Gotham or do you just have New York?
Yeah. I guess once you make the decision, you might as well stick to it.
Goofy basically kidnaps his son.
That's not kidnapping if it's your own son.
No, that's the rule.
Well, okay, sometimes it is, but I feel like in this case it's not.
No, but he does basically, like, drag him on this trip without telling him anything about it, because he says he doesn't want him to get the chair or something, and Max is like, what? And then he just starts driving.
I love Max's reaction here because he's like, what does that even mean? What do I do with this information? Max manages to at least get his dad to drop him off at Roxanne so he can explain that he won't be able to make it to the party. And
and Roxanne's so disappointed, and she thinks that Max
doesn't like her. And she thinks that Max, the person who ran away from her screaming once, just isn't all that into her, which I understand.
And here's the thing, Max comes up with a lie that is so hard to follow through on and so easy to disprove.
There is committing a faux pas, and there is intentionally walking to the top of the creek and jumping in without a paddle.
I want to ask you a quick thing, as a love guru.
Yes. Sorry, give me a second. Let me get my certified love guru license and just have it next to me to remind me of my place. Continue.
Let's say you were in this situation. You had to cancel this date for reasons out of your control, and you wouldn't be back for, it sounds like, a few weeks at least.
Yeah.
What exactly do you say? Because the best thing I could come up with is, let me make it up to you when I get back, and then propose a different date at a later time.
I think, yeah, that the best choice would be to just say, listen, I still want to do the date, but also I am a child, so I do not have agency over my own life sometimes. So how about when I get back, we do something really special?
Yeah, I think that would have been something like that would be the right thing to say.
Right.
But Max says...
Well, so here's the thing, right, is Max is, I think, willing to do damage control coming when he gets back. The reason he goes off the deep end is because Roxanne mentions going with someone else. And my reaction to her saying that is, well, yeah, she's just going to go with her friend like she was going to originally. Right.
Also, as we've established, it doesn't seem like that romantic an activity to be doing.
Yeah, it's great. Nothing says romance like sitting in a room filled with teenagers and watching a concert on a small television. At 240p, this was the mid-90s. You get to see all 12 frames. I would say in crisp detail, but no, there was some static. It's okay, just hit the TV, get that clear image.
Yeah, we just gotta mess with the bunny ears.
I feel really bad with the kid who was stuck on bunny ear duty, because there is a kid who's stuck on the side of the TV, and his job is to just mess with those bunny ears the moment signal starts to crap out.
Been there, man.
Right? Oh, it's the worst.
It actually got worse in my house when they switched to digital signals because we didn't have cable. Because digital signals, you can't get, like, kind of a thing. You either have it or you don't.
Yeah, it drops out so much harder.
Yeah.
Although, I guess to me, it's better because it's like, it's an instantaneous, as soon as you lose signal, it's like, well, I guess I'm doing something else now. There's no 30 minutes of trying to get it back. It's just, all right, fuck it. I'm reading a book.
But Max tells her that he's going to be on stage at the Powerline concert.
Man. And the thing is this lie goes from 0 to 60 so quick. Because first, they're going to the concert. Then, his dad knows Powerline. Then, they're going to be up on stage with Powerline. And then he's going to personally wave to her. It's like, dude... Like, you have set up a literal 5-step plan to getting your whole ass set out to dry.
I love this plan because it makes 0 sense, and it's the point of the entire movie. And we're going to talk later about how this plan continues to make 0 sense throughout all the movie. I love it.
Goofy and Max go on this road trip, and Max is like, Max has resigned himself. He's like, there's no way this is going to happen. I'm fucked. Yeah. She's going to hate me forever because I lied to her. I'm just going to be mad because that's all I know how to do right now is just be mad about it.
Yeah, and Goofy sings On the Open Road, which is probably the best song in the in the movie. I think so.
No, dude, that song by Powerline is legit a bop, man.
You think?
I love
think it's
it.
Too poppy.
Nah, dude, it's my shit, man. Like,
okay,
that level of just raw, like, we're just making this for mass appeal. We're not trying to hide this behind any level of doing it for the art. We're doing this for the appeal, man. I'm about it. I love it when something is unshamedly pop like that.
But I just want to mention On the Open Road, we see all these characters that are going to end up at the concert. But more importantly, Max is extremely flippant about seeing the dead come back to life.
I mean, I haven't watched the Goof Troop. I assume there was a Halloween special. I assume he's seen it before, man.
The kids go up in the treehouse and start telling stories. Homer is Poe and the Raven.
What are you talking about?
Us making a treehouse a horror joke, dude.
I've never watched The Simpsons.
You've never watched an episode of The Simpsons?
I
think I had to watch the Raven one in, like, an English class.
Wow, what a cool English class, actually.
Well, because it's actually the entirety of the Raven, just done with Bart as the Raven and Homer as the narrator.
I get that. No,
it's fun. It's a nice little thing.
I don't think I've ever actually sat down and watched an episode of The Simpsons. I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons as a kid.
Oh, well, me neither, but that's why it was so cool that I did it.
So the thing is instead of what I ended up watching instead was Futurama.
Oh, you mean the same show?
The Simpsons, but in space, and better written, in my opinion. But I guess I can't have an opinion on that because I watched one and not the other.
I was going to say, I don't think you're allowed to have that opinion.
So they go to an opossum-based theme park?
Yeah, they do. And man, I wouldn't want to be on this road trip either.
So this theme park is basically like if Chuck E. Cheese was also a carnival and all the horrifying things that implies.
Yeah, and opossums are... I mean, fuck, Chuck E. Cheese is a rat, so that's not great. But opossums are like bigger, nastier rats.
They are horrifying little beasts, man. They just don't look friendly. No part of the opossum says, be my friend.
Nah, they have these... They have shiny red eyes, and they have these big mouths with a lot of sharp teeth in them.
And they're always kind of holding their mouths open, like, look at the teeth, man.
And they can die instantly and come back to life.
Yeah, again, it's just not a basis for a good child-friendly entertainment venue. This, to me, is kind of the height of tension in the movie, where Max just openly says, no part of this was at all my idea. Like, you're dragging me along for some inane reason, and I don't want any part of it. I don't want any part of you or this trip. So just, I think what he says is call me when it's over, which is like a real harsh thing to say to your dad. And so at this point, Goofy's like, obviously, I just need to keep trucking. Like, we'll connect eventually. They end up at a lake and they're setting up a camp when they're quite literally almost murdered by Pete and his massive RV.
In, like, the oldest joke ever, Pete is, like, glamping.
Yeah.
He's coming out in this huge RV with all the fixings, and of course Goofy's out here with a little tent. It's one of the things that keeps happening in cartoons.
So here's the thing, right? Is this movie came out in the mid-90s, so we're kind of past the heyday of road trip movies, I think, which were very popular in the 80s, up until the early 90s. But, like, road trip movies today still make that joke, right? Like, you have the family that's trying to, like, the suburban family trying to do the wilderness thing, and then the rival family that doesn't care. They're spending all this money to have this luxurious home-on-the-road staycation.
I want to talk about what makes Pete kind of a villain and really interesting. Is he's just like an obnoxious neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
But he's the catalyst for every fight between Goofy and Max. For instance, the reason Goofy reacted so strongly to this news about Max, along with the fact that Wallace Shawn really poured it on, is that Pete had just said that he was being too soft on him, and the reason that he wasn't getting along with Max was that Goofy had a really, like, light touch as a father. And here, it's the same thing when Goofy says, I went on this trip, and me and Max still aren't connecting, and Pete says, you gotta have a firm grip on him. But what's interesting is that even though that also kind of leads into the next fight between Goofy and Max, we can also see that Goofy doesn't 100% agree, because he does not like the way Pete treats his kid.
Well, so that's the thing is, I have had friends who have had that relationship with their parents, right? Like, with what their parents says goes, kind of that military family dynamic.
Sure.
I've had friends who've lived that life, and it's so to me, it's kind of this diametrically opposed methods of parenting, right? I need to be in charge of every aspect of my son's life in order to ensure that he will be successful, versus I just want him to have a good life and I can trust that he will make the right choices because I have taught him how to make those right choices, right? Going back to the show a little bit, like, again, the show's whole kind of onus for Pete's character is everything that Goofy stands for, I am against. And we see glimpses of it in this movie where he almost is intentionally prodding Goofy's way of life. Like, look at how I do it and how effective and good I am at being a dad, and how you're not right now. But at the same time, every time Goofy tries to follow his advice, it's definitely not working. This next scene is one of those scenes that I remember because it was on anytime I popped a VHS in and there was a trailer for the Goofy movie. This scene is there.
That's funny because I've seen this movie before, and I did not know that the scene was in it.
Yeah, man, this
scene is insane,
dude. So Goofy takes a page out of Pete's book and basically orders Max that they're going fishing, and they accidentally catch Bigfoot. Oh wait, sorry. Goofy goes over the perfect
The perfect cast, right.
This was one of those moments where I, as an educated movie viewer, was like, this is coming back. This is coming back. This is the Chekhov's gun. I found it. This gun is going to shoot somebody later in the movie. I love that. I love that even a movie like this still has to have a Chekhov's gun moment.
I mean, it's just good writing.
It is. And it comes back. It comes back twice, and the first time I was like, dope. The second time was absolutely fucking ridiculous.
I loved that. I thought it was hilarious.
It's such a good moment. They catch Bigfoot, and they're basically held hostage by Bigfoot.
Bigfoot seems to be at human-level intelligence and cruel.
He understands what it means to cause pain, and he also understands that gives him pleasure.
I thought it was really interesting because they got a picture of him, and I thought, even Max, who wasn't happy about the trip, must be kind of excited about that. And then Max got excited about it, and then Bigfoot destroyed their camera.
Yeah, which of course he was. Like, you can't. Yeah, you can only bring Bigfoot into your movie if Bigfoot leaves and there's still no evidence of his existence.
Yeah, I love it.
Goofy and Max have a little bit of a connection when they make soup, and they kind of reminisce of when he was a kid and he would spell out things in the soup. And I'm not gonna lie, like, that moment fucking got to me.
It was a cute moment. I liked it.
It's a very cute moment. Tears were shed.
I frankly don't think Bigfoot should have been in this movie. It really made that moment a lot weirder.
It definitely did. But
I liked it.
I guess I also don't know how else you would get them in the situation of, we're trapped and all we have is this soup.
You could have them trapped in a snowbank or somewhere. I know it's summer. That wouldn't be hard to pull off, but that's like my best thing off the top of my head.
It definitely, to me, feels like they had this scene in their minds and they were like, all right, how are we going to get them in this place? Bigfoot. Duh. Obviously. All right. High five, everybody. Let's go home for today and not think about this decision any further. Which, fine. Sure. Why not? It's a kid's movie.
After that little moment between them, the map pops out of the glove compartment and Max decides to change it.
Max hears the call and it is bathed in glowing red glove compartment light.
And so he changes the map. And do you know what I hate about this scene? The fact that in the next scene, Goofy's like, here, why don't you just take the map? I get that it's supposed to play on, Max's conscience, but also, I didn't need to see him changing the map if I was just going to be told that he was in charge of the map.
No, but that's the thing, right, is I do think it's effective, right? Because he has made this choice to try and trick his father, and as soon as he does it, he's like, well, there's no way this is going to work.
Here's the very important thing about this. The very important thing. What conceivably is part 2 of this plan? What do you do once you get to LA?
So that's the thing, right? Is Max is kind of, he set up a 5-step plan. He just has to go through it step by step, right? He can't worry about what to do once he gets to LA.
He can never get on stage if he doesn't get to LA.
Exactly.
Right.
He's got to tackle this one bullet point at a time, which, smart.
Do you know what actually pisses me off about it is when this happened, I thought, damn, what's part 2 of this plan? What does he do after he gets into LA? And the answer is, we never find out.
We never find out, but that's okay. I think I do wish the movie had a little bit more time at the end to go through all 5 steps a bit more cleanly.
To do like a 5-minute heist movie at the end.
Yeah, just a little something more solid than the montage, but it's fine. It's just, I think it would have been enough to push this movie over the edge from good to great, because this movie is so close to being really, really fucking great.
So Goofy gives Max
full responsibility.
He gives him full control over the stops and how they get to Lake Destiny. This leads into this really good montage scene where, Max doesn't want to stop at these shitty rest stops, so he has them stopping at places that he'd be interested in, you know?
This is, to me, like, good parenting. It's like, all right, obviously the shit that I did with my dad isn't gonna fly, so let's do shit that he wants to do with me.
I like that, Max does they're on a roller coaster and he realizes that his dad does not want to be on a roller coaster, so then the next thing is like a touristy gimmicky thing, because he's not only thinking about himself.
There's compromise there.
Also, there's a mime bit, and
that mime bit is the best joke in the whole movie, because it caught me by surprise. I was totally not expecting that joke to land, as heavy as it did, no pun intended, it really struck a chord with me is all I'm saying.
Okay.
But that's the thing, right, is the whole time they're both having this great time, Max is still deceiving his dad, and it's kind of eating away at him a little bit, but the guilt isn't enough to make him think he's in the wrong yet, right? Like he's committed, I think, to this act of evil, I guess.
Here's the thing, though. And I guess, I mean, we really get to it later anyway, but I just want to mention this, is that Max has been picking detours. He could pitch LA as a detour. I know that it's out of the way. But they were never going the straight way anyway.
I also do want to say, right, that the road trip after Max pulls the U-turn, it makes sense, but it doesn't make any fucking sense. I still don't know. I don't know how you can end up in a position where your choices are Los Angeles and Idaho. Right? Like, I've driven all up and down the southwest of the United States, man. I have driven all over it. Where the fuck
I don't know,
were
is
they?
there like a turn off of Route 66 that just starts going to Idaho?
So I'm thinking, to me, I'm thinking, because the thing is they are going through Arizona, and that's not a choice you make in Arizona, man. Idaho is way too far away.
Once you're already in Arizona, going to Idaho
it's quite a ways away.
You gotta start moving toward Idaho.
You gotta kind of turn north and then east.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a binary decision. And don't get me wrong, I get that
that's an important part of the movie.
But they could have maybe chosen a place that was a little more relevant,
closer to LA, or they could have had Lake Destiny be in like Northern California.
Yeah.
So there would be the bit where the choices between LA and Northern
like Sacramento.
California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is something that like 2 more minutes in the writing room would have cleared up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why it had to be Idaho is what I'm saying. But before we get to there, they stop at a Little Mermaid themed motel.
Which I kind of like that they're both super into, because it's like a shitty motel, but has really leaned into the mermaid theme.
It is. I have never been to a tacky motel because the idea of going to a motel terrifies me, but...
Oh my god, come on, dude.
I don't...
You can't poop in other people's houses. You can't sleep in a motel.
The door is open to strangers, man. That's like peak murder territory.
It automatically locks.
That's where serial killers go to hunt, and I refuse to be prey.
You can put another latch on the door. It locks from the inside.
Nah, man. It's never good enough. It's never safe enough.
You can put a chair in front of it. I don't understand your issue.
I'm just really paranoid, I guess, about being murdered. Which is what I get for watching a lot of, like, cold case files and stuff as a kid.
Yeah,
maybe.
I guess this is basically on you.
Yeah, no, I agree that I'm in the wrong. Again, I'm wrong here. I'm the crazy one. I do like a good tacky motel. I just don't ever want to stay there. Like, I'd rather drive a little bit further into civilization and stay at a hotel.
Now, screw that. The hotel's like $50 more at least.
Yeah, but it's closer to civilization.
And when you gotta sleep at 4 a.m. because you've driven halfway across the country and gonna do the other half tomorrow, you stop where you stop.
Shoot a 5-hour energy drink and keep on trucking, my dude. That's my motto. Hakuna Matata.
Anyway, yo, that means no worries. That's 100% not your thing.
Whatever. Just felt like the right thing to say. I was wondering if you were going to call me on it or not. So, while they're at this motel, Pete shows up and is to kind of, what's the word? Leech off of Goofy's hospitality.
Yeah, he's going to bump some electricity.
Well, and so that's the thing about Pete, right? Is one of my favorite things about Pete is that as much as he thinks Goofy is lesser than him, he's never not above leeching off of his goodwill. I guess to Pete, Goofy is like the ultimate sucker.
Also, Goofy might be Pete's best friend.
I do think that Goofy is just Pete's best friend.
'Cause, like, who else does he have?
The thing that's really sad about the next movie is Goofy kind of moves on. And Pete's just left with his pool room, man.
Yeah, I guess they never hang out together ever again.
Yeah, well, I mean, he can't miss him if he doesn't leave, right? Oof.
Harsh.
Well, hey, I'm not the one that said it. Max has explained to PJ his predicament earlier in the RV scene, and now that they're in the motel, he's kind of explained his plan further to PJ.
Well, and the thing is, he, like, laughs about how fucking dumb the plan is.
And this is why I'm okay with this plan not having a second step, because he's kind of like, yeah, man, I don't know what's going to happen once we get to LA, but that's future me's problem.
And Peach is like, you changed the map? You really think you really thought that was gonna work? And he says, I panicked!
It was
I'm like, yeah, okay.
I love how much of a fucking teenager Max is. Like, it's... Like, he never thinks through he never thinks through any of his actions. It's all just impulse. And that makes sense for a teenager. They're not good at thinking.
And of course, this is another bit where Pete, who claims not to like delivering bad news, gets to be the one to
That's such a
make
good
Goofy
line.
and Max fight again.
That's such a good line. What a piece of shit, man.
Yeah.
What a fucking used car salesman.
Yeah. What a creep.
So he tells Goofy that Max has tricked him. And this next sequence of scenes, I think these next 3 scenes, I think are the best 3 scenes in this movie.
They're very intense.
They're very tight. They're very well written. And the voice acting is, like, top notch.
Even this one bit where Goofy's like mad and confused, and he like slams his head on his car, and the fucking map pops out just like it did for Max.
Bathed in red glove compartment glow.
The fact that there is that parallel in there.
It's so good. It's fantastic.
I would have hated it if that was the first time that happened. And honestly, I kind of hated it the first time
it happened?
And I was like, well, that's dumb that happened. And then, but the fact that it happened again, I was like, okay.
Right?
You know what? That makes sense.
It's good, but it's good setup. And you, as a viewer, feel satisfied when he hits his head on the car, because as soon as he does it, your thought is, oh, it's going to pop open. It has to.
Yeah.
This is fate. This is foreshadowing. This is good writing. Also, just a little trivia fact is that this next scene was the first scene that they recorded for the movie. And it was the first time the voice actor who voiced Max worked with Goofy's voice actor, Bill Farmer.
Interesting.
Yeah, so this was it's intimidating, I guess, as an actor to have to work with the voice of Goofy.
A fucking Goofy.
Right.
Also, I feel like it'd be intimidating because that's
a hard pull.
like a neutral scene.
No,
it's a very emotional scene that you have to kick off playing.
But I also think that once you nail that tone, the rest of the movie comes easy. Because this is the climax of the film.
Right, but like, I don't know, maybe some people would, but I was gonna say I wouldn't start with writing the climax of the film. But then again, maybe some people do that and like work backwards. That doesn't actually, now that I say it out loud, sounds like kind of an interesting way to come up with the story.
Right, definitely. And I think there are some writers that do that. I think most writers follow the write it as it happens way of doing it, or the like outline way of doing it. I do think it's interesting to start with the climax and then kind of work outwards. It sounds like a good way of doing it.
Like we mentioned before, Goofy and Max are on the highway during the split between Idaho and California.
So,
and Goofy tells Max, tell me which way to go, which way do I turn? And Max is like, he's hesitating.
This is it, right? Like, once he commits to this choice, there's no going back. And I think he's now weighing getting caught in the lie versus betraying the trust that my father has put in me. These are 2 very heavy things.
But eventually he does tell him to go left toward LA. And they do it, and I think they barely miss the, what do you call it? The concrete barrier there. And then Goofy pulls over and is so mad at Max for thinking he's too stupid to figure out they were going to LA. But then he definitely left his car neutral.
So that's the thing about Goofy, right? Is at the end of the day, he is still Goofy. But I also think that it speaks to how well written this movie is, that throughout this entire comedic bit of them chasing their car, they are still having this very intense argument with each other, and it's still very emotionally effective. Like, I have had this argument with my dad of being caught in a lie and trying to defend it. Because I was right, damn it. I had to lie because I'm a teenager and I'm petulant. That is such an insane scene to even think about writing, and they pull it off almost effortlessly.
It's very good. It's an odd scene because it is comedic and also tense.
It has an emotional weight to it, and at the same time has a comedic levity.
And they end up catching the car and sitting out in the river and talking, and I think eventually singing about how they're, different people and they change
And that's
stuff like that.
like at the end of the day, right? Like they both say the thing that they wanted to say at the beginning of the movie, which is, I want to be my own person, and no matter how much you grow and change, I'm still gonna be your dad, and I'm still gonna see you as my son.
Side note, what is Goofy's car made of?
Unobtainium. It's made of comedic effect.
It's just that it's not... I don't have a problem with it, like, surviving crashes, but it does also float.
It's, perfectly buoyant.
Which cars are not exactly known for.
And also, it holds out the water, like...
And also, at the end of the movie, he drives it back.
Well, I mean, it doesn't last long much after that.
It's destroyed, but he gets it back across the country. I can speak from experience that is not a super easy thing to do with a broken car.
I think you could write a whole movie about that trip back. I'm glad we didn't have to see it, though.
Can I briefly mention the one thing that I could honestly say I hated about this movie?
Go for it.
Goofy falls off a waterfall.
Yeah?
And they couldn't even get the scream right.
Oh, yeah, no, it's
what the hell is that about?
It's crazy to me that they don't ever do the official scream. We don't get the official scream until the end of the movie, but that was the perfect place for it.
Yeah.
That was some primo goof scream.
So yeah, Goofy's about to fall off a waterfall, and Max uses the perfect cast.
The perfect cast.
I wouldn't describe perfect cast. It's basically like the fucking weirdest twitching of your body, and then you fling a
It's like you spend 90% of the perfect cast doing an insane interpretive ritual, and then in the last 2 minutes you remember to throw the line and go fishing.
And then I think after this, they just end up in the fucking... This is why there needed to be a tiny heist movie at this part of the movie.
Right, because I think
they're just there.
Well, they hard cut to them having already snuck into the concert. But there was an entire setup to this scene that we don't get to see that should have been in this movie. They could have afforded it. This movie's only 78 minutes long.
This is really my final big note for this movie. But for a guy who felt so bad about a few lies, Max is sure okay with breaking and entering, and trespassing, and destruction of property, and arguably assault, because he does, like, physically touch Powerline.
I think Powerline kind of saw where the breeze was flowing on this one, though, and was like, you know what?
Powerline seems like, one, a chill guy, and two, he 100% knows to keep on, you keep on rolling the concert.
Yeah, he's a performer, man. He knows. You gotta go with the flow on this thing.
But there are people who would have stopped and said, get these randos off my stage.
Well, he's not like Paul McCartney, right? He's definitely more of a cool person. I was trying to think of a cool musician, but I don't know enough musicians.
Is Paul McCartney an uncool musician?
I refuse to believe any of the Beatles are cool musicians, mostly because the only two of them are alive now, and they're very old and crotchety, but...
Okay, I don't know.
Right, it's like, this is part of the fantasy, so it's like, whatever.
Sure.
Also, to be fair, you know who else was super cool with this? His dad.
Yeah, like, what the hell? We sort of skipped over this, but Max tells him about the lie he told Roxanne. Griffey's like, okay, guess we gotta do that then.
Alright.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah, alright. Like, it could have been a much better joke if it was like, alright, sure. Breaking and entering? I've got some experience in that. Like, wait, what?
And I know that there is, I know about movies. There's no way they're not ending up at the Powerline concert. That's impossible. But
there could have been a little bit more, because the whole movie keeps treating them ending up at the concert as unfeasible. So the fact that it just happens feels like comes out of nowhere. Even though you know it's going to happen, doesn't feel good.
It's inevitable. Because that's the way stories are told,
Yeah, but you want it to have a flow, and it's literally a smash cut.
So they both end up on stage independent of each other. I forget how Goofy gets on stage, but I think he probably fell from somewhere.
He definitely fell from somewhere. They break like a massive television. That could not have been cheap.
Yeah, that was the destruction of property I mentioned.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure. I will also say that this is the second time that Max has broken a large screen.
He's good at that.
He's really good at it.
Do you think Goofy has just incredible insurance?
I mean, he has to, right? He worked for Mickey Mouse. I bet he still has that same insurance, even if he doesn't work for him anymore.
I bet that it costs him a lot less to keep paying the insurance than it would to keep paying for all the damage he causes on a normal
the
basis.
mouse takes care of his friends.
You made Mickey sound like a mobster there, 100%.
No, but that's the thing, right? Is now in my head, in the fiction of this world, Mickey Mouse is totally just a mob boss, edging out the competition. He has his hand in Hollywood.
I was gonna try to do a Mickey Mouse voice where I said a mobster thing, and then I realized I can't.
What's a mobster thing? What's the thing that mobsters say?
I don't know. Try just like on this day of my daughter's wedding.
You come here on the day of my daughter's wedding?
That's pretty good. I sometimes forget that you're pretty good at voices.
I used to be able to do a real pitch perfect Mickey, but then I became an adult, so... Gosh, Mickey, I just need a little bit more time. You're running on thin fucking ice here, Goofy. If you don't pay me back what you owe, you'll know why. I'm stealing... I can't. I was about to steal a bit from a good friend of mine. You'll know why we leave Pluto in chains.
Oh, dang.
I know. Is that... Can we get sued for that? Like, I know we don't matter, but, like, if you did a good Mickey Mouse impression on television, could you get sued for that? Or does that fall under parody? Or do you just not take the risk?
Definitely for us it would fall under parody. Yeah, if like Family Guy did it, they could probably call parody.
Oh, Family Guy has done Mickey Mouse bits, I think.
But here's the real question, though. Let's say Disney decided they didn't like you doing it and wanted to sue you over it. It would be way easier for you to say, oh my god, I'll never do it again, and we'll get rid of it, than to get sued by Disney, even though you'd probably eventually win.
I don't know. If I got sued by Disney, I might stick to my guns just for the
story.
Yeah, why not destroy my life financially?
I was gonna say, I think that could last like 20 years, but go for it.
I feel like being able to say that I, as a single man, was personally sued by the conglomerate that is Disney. I feel like that's a pretty good life experience to have under my belt, no matter how ruined my life got afterwards.
Come at us, Disney.
Come at me specifically. I don't want to share the fame. I don't want to share the fame.
Actually come specifically at Andy.
Yeah, I was going to be like, whoa, wait a minute, dude. Don't jump. I don't want you to jump in front of this bullet. It's okay. This is glory I know you don't need or want.
Anyway, Goofy and Max just get on stage. You know, they do fine. Goofy does the perfect cast, and it's a hilarious dance move.
Great bit.
Everybody back home sees it. You get it. It's the climax of a movie. You understand.
He did the undoable and made his lie the truth. But on the way back home, I guess that there was an agreement between Goofy and Max that Max had to tell Roxanne the truth.
Which, as an adult moviegoer, I get, because you can't start a relationship like that. But I remember as a kid thinking, man, he just pulled it off.
Right? Like, he got away with it, man. But also as an adult, yeah, you gotta tell the truth. You can't.
I tell so many lies in regular conversations that are just about, like, they're just, like, simple, tiny lies because the truth is slightly more complicated and I don't want to get into the more complicated thing.
You want to keep it simple.
I never tell a lie like,
I'm best friends with Brad Pitt.
I know really famous people and I'm gonna hang out with them and send you some pictures, because that's crazy. But if I did, and I got those pictures, I might just stand by it.
No, man, you gotta come.
No, you know what? I definitely wouldn't. That'd be so weird.
I'm a big believer in the little lie, because those lies of convenience are social niceties, right?
Well, they're so, like, important. Like, if you're supposed to get milk, and you get a text, it's like, did you pick up the milk? Then you send back, yes. And then you go get milk. Right?
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Say, no, I'll go do it now, because that is an invitation for a longer conversation.
That you don't want to have. And it hurts nobody. At the end of the day, the milk was got.
Right. In a relationship, I think those lies are almost necessary.
But I don't even think it's a thing that's specific to relationships. I just think in your day-to-day life, when you deal with people...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like you can't...
especially with people you don't know. Are you kidding?
You can't stop every 2 minutes to get into that conversation, because it's not worth it. Like, we all have little lies that we say because, like, I'm just here to get my coffee. You have your routine. I have mine. Hey, how you doing? I'm doing great. I'm glad you're having a nice day. All right, have a good afternoon. Like,
right. If somebody says, "Hey, how you doing?" and you're like,
"Oh fuck, man, life's so hard.
It's been such a long day. It's only 4. then, like...
You have broken the
What?
rules.
Yeah, no, you just say you're fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's not worth it to have those conversations. Because otherwise, we would have to become best friends with literally everyone we talk to, and that's exhausting. I don't want to be best friends with some people I'm best friends with right now, because it's too much.
Okay, wow. I guess we'll just end the podcast.
Okay, wait.
You're right, we're not best friends.
Oh, no, don't do that.
We're like blood brothers.
No, don't do that either. Wait. You're putting me in a position where I don't know what the right answer is anymore.
And this is why you lie to people.
This is why you lie to people. Yeah, you don't want to have to commit.
Anyway, you can't start off a relationship with this big a lie.
Big of a lie.
So...
Oh, hell no. No, man. And if you do, you take that to your grave. No one can ever know. He'd have to kill his dad. It's too big of a lie.
And Goofy's unkillable.
He is. He's outlived his son, I think, in the popular zeitgeist, so I got some shivers when I said that.
I almost made a Kingdom Hearts joke, then decided it probably wasn't worth it to get into that.
No, I don't care, man.
No, my issue wasn't with you, it was with, like, the public in general. Like, if I'm making a Kingdom Hearts joke, then I am making a Kingdom Hearts joke, and that's gonna be a whole thing. He talks to Roxanne, he comes clean. She tells him she likes his laugh, which is cute. And then I think Goofy crashes into her roof.
Yeah, and so Max introduces Roxanne to him, and the movie kind of ends there.
Yeah, it's a nice little movie. It could be a little bit tighter in some places.
It's a movie that it kind of plays a little fast and loose, but it stays really focused on its emotional goal, I think, which is the only thing that salvages it. It's a very effective father-son coming-of-age story. It's
very good at depicting these characters.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are bits that could be a little bit stronger. Altogether, I think it was worth probably worth the cinematic release that it got, and worth the amount of praise it has, which is like,
I don't know about that.
Which is like a sort of a cult following instead of like one of the big Disney movies.
Oh yeah, it's definitely got it has its place, I think, in a lot of people's lives as a cult film, and I think it deserves it. I don't think the same can be said about the second movie. An extremely goofy movie, a 2000 turn of the millennia direct-to-video animated sequel made by Walt Disney Television Animation, directed by Douglas McCarthy, 5 years after the release of the original, and has the exact same running time, 78
Amazing.
Minutes.
Good on them. You know what? It's a good running time.
It's a good... yeah, it's great. It's not too long, not too short. It's a good amount of time. Man, this movie is crazy.
This movie is so...
It's such a snapshot of its time.
Of a time.
Yeah, that no longer...
It's so quintessential to early 2000s, late 90s.
Yeah, everything about this movie, from its premise to its... everything.
But you know what? There's some stuff that isn't. Because, you know what? We'll get to that. There's like some shit, man.
Oh, this movie gets real in some places that I was not ready for.
It's not even to the getting real part that I have a problem with. We'll get there.
So,
although a kid does try to murder them at one point, which feels more like an 80s movie thing to me than a 2000s one. You know, in the 80s, kids tried to murder each other all the time, you know, like in Footloose or Back to the Future.
Let's talk about first just how weird it is. The audience of this movie is unfathomable. It's literally, hey, the kids who watched the Goofy movie are probably going to college now, so let's release a movie about skateboarding.
That's the thing, though. Skateboarding, by the early 2000s? Was skateboarding even, like, in vogue anymore?
Yes, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, dude. We are at the height of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
That's true. I forgot about Tony Hawk. I forgot that when I was a kid, he would be, like, a guest star on cartoon shows.
Hey, man. I feel like a lot of people forget about Tony Hawk in a way that is hilarious. Yeah, we're talking, like, the height of skateboarding, I think. This was back when skateboarding could make you rock star famous. Back when skateboarding was broadcast on ESPN. Jesus Christ.
You know, and what bothered me is that was like ESPN 1.
Yeah, right? If you look at the banner, it says ESP1 and ESPN 2.
That's crazy. What a slow sports day. Because what I was thinking when I saw that was like, it should be like in Dodgeball, where dodgeball, professional dodgeball, is playing on ESPN 8, The Ocho.
Yeah, right? Which is that's a good movie.
That's the one thing I really remember from that movie, but I love it.
The one thing I really remember about that movie is rewatching it years later and going, holy shit, that's Alan Tudyk. What's he doing in this movie?
Oh, he was a pirate, right?
Yeah, he was the Pirate Pete.
Oh, Alan.
Oh, man, he's literally got the best career I think any actor can imagine. An extremely goofy movie starts with Maximilian Goof getting ready to go off to college. They're having a cookout. Him and PJ and Robbie are skateboarding on their little homemade half pipe and talking.
I need to talk about a couple things. Now that you've just introduced Robbie, I need to talk about, this is as far as I can tell, the number one complaint people have with this movie. Roxanne's not in it.
Right. She is completely absent. She's not even mentioned.
Which is, like, you know what? If you start dating a girl when you're 15, maybe you stop seeing each other by the time you go to college.
Maybe.
I get it.
Yeah,
but
I understand.
Also, the fact that she was, like, the whole point of the first movie, and then not the whole point of the first movie, but you get what I'm saying. She was the inciting action, and she was his goal for the first movie.
I do want to just say, yes, it's gross. We understand.
It's a little gross. I mean, frankly, yeah, she's not really a character as much as she is
an
a
object
situation
to attain. Yeah,
But you know what makes it more gross?
The fact that they just
that
toss
she never
her
gets
away.
to be a character.
This could have been a good time to really focus a bit more on.
Here's the thing that kind of bothered me, is that, like, it's just weird that she doesn't exist.
I feel like every woman in Max's life just disappears.
Holy hell, what are you saying?
I'm saying that I think Max might have the Infinity Gauntlet and he just dusts people when he's done with them.
I wonder how much that joke would age this podcast.
It's, as of the recording of this podcast, relevant.
Endgame came out like 2 days ago.
Literally, so
this
is about as relevant as it could get. But I do not think it will be relevant in about a month. So we'll see.
But what bothered me about the fact that Roxanne wasn't there is that Bobby's there. What?
Yeah, I know! He's like nobody!
I don't get it. And I kind of think it would be interesting if there was, like, a girl in the little gang, you know? And I get that that's not how college movies start, but come on.
Right, no, I understand. Like, there should have... It shouldn't have been Robbie, is what we're saying. Although, Robbie does have the best line in this movie. Do you always wonder why we're wearing gloves? It's a line that it is a throwaway punchline.
That's right, yeah.
That's so fucking good. It almost makes up for the fact that he shouldn't fucking be in this movie. Almost. Not quite. Almost. He does get a haircut at least.
They are practicing for the college X Games, which I immediately wrote down as not a strong start.
Oh, I know. Like, who, like, in the year of our Lord 2019, like, who gives a shit about the X Games? Oh, man. There's no way those things are still going on, right?
I don't know, maybe, like, locally.
Fuck, there's no way. I'm looking it up. I need to know.
I don't have a problem with, like, extreme sports and shit, but I kind of have a problem with people who care that much about that.
Well, so here's the thing about extreme sports, right, is they're not that extreme, and they're not really sports.
I don't know. Is skateboarding not a sport to you?
So here's my problem. The thing about football and baseball and basketball and hockey and soccer, the big five, is that it's really easy to see how the point system works, because it's just... You put the,
okay.
Right? Like, it's easy to care even if you don't know any of the rules because the objective is clear.
But unless somebody falls off of a skateboard, you don't know necessarily if they're doing well unless you're an expert.
The only reason you know how well anybody's doing is if you have a really good announcer.
The games do end in a race, and I think the reason it ends in a race is because everybody gets it. It's an easy thing to show. Here's the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a good point. I didn't think of it like that.
It's not what I'm saying that they're not quote-unquote real sports, because I feel like that's like saying something isn't actually art. Like, who cares? What I'm saying is it's like, who cares? What I'm saying is, who cares? Who cares about the X Games in 2019?
Somebody, probably, but it's fine.
I'm sure there is a group of, like, really vaped up college students who are really into the X Games every year. But I mean, other than them, side note, Robbie definitely vapes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
right? He's just to a T. He definitely vapes. He wants to think that he's cool enough to smoke weed, but he doesn't. He just vapes.
Harsh.
So Max is ready to go off to college, but Goofy's kind of not ready to let him go yet. This movie's very unfocused compared to the first movie, which is ironic considering the whole theme of focus that Goofy's obsessed with in this film.
That's true. He says this thing about focus, and he brings it to a horseshoe, and then he throws a horseshoe, and the horseshoe goes everywhere, but then it hits the... What's it? What do you call it in horseshoes?
A stake. I think it's just a stake.
And that comes back later.
Mm-hmm.
Not as effectively as the map thing that we talked about before.
Yeah.
But it was okay. No, you know what? It was weird that he went back home.
Yeah, right? Like, how much did he... Maybe they just needed to get Jim Cummings back in the movie.
And it wasn't clear the timeline in that scene, because it's like he left... after he failed something that I thought was a midterm.
But no, because he takes a midterm later. So what the fuck was that test?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh man, this movie sucks. This movie's writing is not as clean. I will say that.
Yeah, here's my problem with this movie is parts of it are genuinely good. For instance, actually, no, I can't get to the good part because we have to make a pit stop at this gift that Goofy gives Max.
Oh man.
My issue is not that Goofy gives Max a typewriter. Mm-hmm. It's that Max hopes it is a TV/VCR/laptop/fax machine. What a dumb time to be alive.
Right? Oh my god. Like, why would you need all of those things? All of those things are things that no longer exist.
A VCR is gonna leave in like 2 years after this movie comes out.
Fax machines, I will say, still useful if you're working taxes, I guess.
I hate fax machines. I hate that fax machines are still useful because there's no reason for them to be.
I'm convinced that the only reason fax machines still exist are because of train companies.
And a TV, I mean, I guess I'm assuming the TV/laptop thing is a joke.
Yeah, because that doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Yeah.
I can watch television and do computation at the same time? Fucking, that's so wild. I can't even imagine. I could do my spreadsheets and watch videos? No way.
It was the year 2000. There was internet.
I'm know, just saying. But here's my problem with it, is that typewriter does not come up again, and I really wish it did.
It's weird because Max is, like, clearly disappointed, and Goofy, like, seems to get it, and then that's, like, also not a big deal. The fact that happened does not cause a rift between them. That doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Like it's not even the instigating action, because the instigating action doesn't happen for another at least 20 minutes.
Well, the thing that I really love about this is because in the next scene, when Max leaves, he leaves behind his teddy bear, and so Goofy like goes into Max's room and is just sitting there with this teddy bear, and it's like a legitimately great scene.
That scene is so good. Here's the thing, though: that teddy bear also doesn't come back.
That's true.
Like, what the fuck, guys? You've done 2 setups? No commitment.
Kind of the weird thing with this movie is how okay Goofy seems to be getting along when he joins Max at... Okay, so, I mean, we'll get to it, but Goofy ends up joining... You know what? No.
Let's
just get to it naturally, because it's kind of important to let it happen. Also, what decade is that van from? This is going to be a big question for me a few times
from the
in
70s.
This movie. Which is like, I don't get that it's the early 2000s and they're driving around in the Mystery Machine. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It is absolutely bonkers that they're driving to college on the day of orientation. What the fuck?
That too.
What the fuck are you talking about? You should have been at college a week ago. What do you mean? Yep. You're moving into dormitories. You should have been there a week ago.
Yep.
Oh, it's also and maybe this is just me in the college I went to, I've never understood frat culture.
They get to college. They're freshmen. They know about individual students at the college they just started at.
They know them by name and title.
That's
They have fucking
wild.
Kinnings for these students.
Nobody would know that. Why didn't they just have the frat guys introduce themselves later when they're trying to, like, get Max to be on their team?
This is some fucking, like, American Pie 101 shit, right? Like, I feel like this type of college only exists in movies the same way that, like, High School Musical style high schools only exist in movies, right?
There's some shit that happens in this movie. This movie isn't as bad with it as some other movies, but there's some shit that happens in this movie that's like some definite high school shit that would not fly in any college.
Yeah.
Although at the same time, this movie weirdly captures a very movie-type idea of college.
It feels like this movie was written by people who didn't go to college, but watched a lot of movies about people going to college.
Yeah, but we're like big fans of Animal House.
Yes! Animal House is a great example. Max and PJ and Robbie have this big plan to become super famous in college by winning the X Games as freshmen. And that basically puts them on the path to popularity for all of their college career, I guess.
Yeah, which is fine. It's not a very impressive goal to me because for one thing, they don't need to do it to, like, settle into college. They seem to settle in pretty well. PJ starts, like, getting a girlfriend pretty early and, like, shit like this, and, like, stuff seems to go fine for them without necessarily having the X Games.
And so that's the thing, right, is that the whole competition between the frat and Max's crew seems to be purely egotistical.
Right. There's no reason for it to happen as a connection to the movie?
And so that's the thing, right, is because of that, Max quickly stops being a character in his own fucking movie.
Yeah.
Because, we need to talk about Goofy. So Goofy...
Yeah, so let's get to Goofy's new job. For some reason, he lost his last job. I guess Sears closed.
Sears closed. Stopped existing. And he works at a toy factory, which...
He works at the most joyless toy factory.
I don't think any toy factory is filled with joy, but this one is particularly joyless.
This one's not very good, though.
Yeah.
You're probably right. Probably toy making actually genuinely sucks most of the time.
My favorite thing about this movie is there's a moment in that factory where he starts imagining Max. One of the toys' heads becomes Max's head, and I'm like, whoa, this is weird, but okay. It's an animated movie. They can do stuff like this. It's a mere taste of things to come.
Do you know what was crazy for me at the toy factory? It was again a very cartoon thing that if you give it any thought, you think that doesn't make any goddamn sense. Is the Goofy gets fired partially because he accidentally hits the reverse button on his
because there's a reverse setting on
little
his
treadmill and like completely destroys the machine by putting it in reverse. Why is that button on there?
That is some fucking like put a piece of plywood over your ventilation shaft in the Death Star fucking engineering right there, man. Like you don't. First of all, why would you need a reverse setting? What does that even accomplish? In case you
what does that
make
do?
Too many toys? Oh no, we made too many toys today. Put it in reverse. Take them apart. Our bottom line's too high. There's no way we'll sell them all. Something that does happen in this movie, and I can tell that it was meant to be a bit, but it instead just made me really sad, is when Goofy is hugging the toy he thinks is Max, and then the boss is watching him on camera and yells at him to get back to work. And there's just a camera there watching him. And I just got really sad because that was a joke in 2000 and is the reality in 2019.
Yep.
It's very sad. So Goofy gets fired and he goes to the unemployment office. And he's told by the secretary there that he can't get a job because he doesn't have a college degree. He dropped out after 3 years.
Goofy has been in the workforce for... I don't know, how old is Goofy? 40, 50?
He says that he hasn't been in college since the 70s. I assume this movie takes place in 2000, so at least 30 years. He's been in the
workforce for 30 years. He must have, like, enough work experience to get some kind of job. But it's fine. I can buy that he needs to go back into college so that this movie can happen.
I feel like in the 2000s, having to go back to college as a middle-aged man is much more of a joke premise than it is today, where you're like... Yeah, you would have to go back to college, though, actually, because the work environment these days is a fuck. Just another sign of the times, man.
Goofy's got to go back to college. There's our inciting action.
First, I just want to introduce the frat crew, because the head of the Gamma Moo Moo gang...
Forgot that was their name.
First of all, it's pronounced Gamma Mew Mew, not Moo. Mew.
Well, now it's a Pokemon, which isn't necessarily better.
I think it's better because that's whatever. I get it. Ooh. I love the name of the head of the fraternity. His name is Bradley Uppercrust III, which is such a great name for this character.
Yeah, it tells you everything you need to know about him.
Yeah, he's this is fucking like upper class family boy, and he's the third of his lineage.
That's a good name. Here's the thing I can't get behind. Max is graceful in this movie. He's, like, really good at skateboarding. And boy howdy, did he fall over a lot in the last movie.
So that's the thing, right? In the last movie, he's basically like a mini Goofy. And
Right.
in this movie, he is like a speedy gazelle. Nothing gets in his way. He's just dodging and weaving and catching frisbees and stealing sandwiches and...
Yeah, so the Moo-Moos decide they want to chase him down to, like, recruit him or prove a point or whatever. And he and the guys have a lot of fun, like, dodging them, and then end up at a jazz poetry coffee house. And I have to ask again, what decade is this?
There is... And listen, man, I have been to a jazz poetry coffee house. Yeah, dude, nobody does that fucking snapping shit. Nobody does anything. As soon as somebody's done, it's like a polite clap, and then everyone goes back to, you know, talking to each other.
I think it's supposed to be like a quintessential college thing, you know? But it feels like everybody, it's like a 60s thing, though.
It makes, oh no, remember, because later, everybody in the jazz club fucking West Side Stories the fraternity out of the goddamn fucking place by snapping their fingers menacingly.
It feels honestly like a Body Snatchers moment.
It is, yeah, it's definitely like a very weird psychological torture.
So they start hanging out in the coffee house.
Where they meet.
Then the Moo-Moos show up. I'm gonna get to this crazy jazz poet character in a second, because I low-key love her, but she's crazy.
Here's the thing about her, is that she doesn't have a name.
Does she not? I just
No.
thought I missed it.
No,
that sucks.
She is literally not even in the credits.
But what happens is the Moo-Moos start, like, physically assaulting Max's friends, which is assault. That's a bunch of adults telling a bunch of other adults in a place of business, and they are chased out by the snapping, but the police could have been called. I'm just saying, see, this is what bothers me about a lot of, like, college movies, where as soon as physical assault happens, now it's assault, and you can get that fucker arrested.
That's the thing, right? Is as soon as that shit starts going down, there are other older... The thing about college is you have a bunch of kids who have just turned into adults and are a little rowdy, but then you have actual fucking adults there too. And usually, as an adult who has had to do this, when the teenagers start acting too much like fucking teenagers, the adults have to step in and go, hey, fuckers, you could get arrested for this shit now. And that causes problems for everyone. So cut it out.
Campus police, they're right there.
It's insane to me. Yeah, I have no idea. It's a movie thing, though, right? Like, you only see that kind of shit in movies.
So I was really bothered when it turned out the jazz poet was going to be a character, but then it turned out that I guess she's not, because she doesn't get a name. She just ends up dating PJ.
Yeah, her name is... She's credited as Beret Girl in Cafe.
Oh no, that's so much worse.
Right?
Like, I've been calling her Jazz Poet, which is at least a description.
It's at least the thing she does.
Beret Girl would have been better than Beret Girl in Cafe. Like, there was another Beret Girl, and they don't want you to be confused.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This sucks.
Her character is kind of really obnoxiously awful. It's like just the stereotype of like super into poetry and jazz kind of thing. I do love the 1-2 punch of the scene that is Robbie getting shot down, but PJ just sliding in. That's a fun little joke. But yeah, it's fucking gross that, like, A, she doesn't even get a name, but B... I sort of like
Robbie's whole thing, which is like, oh, he gets a girlfriend, and then he gets really into jazz poetry, too, because that's, like, the kind of shit that happens when you go to college.
Oh, yeah, it's great. It's definitely a thing that you see in college a lot.
But it does make me wish that she was, you know,
a character,
a named character.
I would really like it if this movie had a named female character who did something, because we do eventually get a named female character, but she just exists kind of as a romantic interest.
I get that it's kind of a hard needle to thread. You have two male main characters
In a movie that's about their relationship to each other.
Yeah, and so it's kind of hard. But also, I think these people could have done it. I think the effort could have been put in.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is the effort could have been put in, but I think we both know why the effort wasn't put in, and it's because nobody cared enough to do it.
Yeah.
You have to want to be inclusive, right? It's not just going to happen.
So Goofy shows up.
This scene is great.
Oh, also, I have an issue with the class that he shows up in. So he shows up in class, Max's class, where all the upperclassmen are also. So Max is a freshman. Either he's a freshman in an upperclassman class, or a bunch of upperclassmen are in a freshman class. But since Goofy shows up, I guess it's an upperclassman class.
Yeah, because he's technically a senior.
He's doing his last year, because he still has those credits. Fucking somehow.
Yeah, I have no idea how that would fly. I don't think... I don't know how that shakes out. I don't know what you have to retake or what. I will say, though, also, that later he mentions that they're only doing trigonometry. Maya? That's not senior level. That's shit you get done in your first year. I don't care what degree you're going for.
Maybe the upperclassmen put off their fucking math class until their last year, and then Goofy maybe had to retake it for some reason, because honestly, come on.
Of all the classes he would have to retake, math hasn't changed much in the last 200 years. Like, I'm just saying.
You know what? It's fair. He shows up and he makes this big scene about being Max's dad, and Max gets really embarrassed, but then the next scene is they talk about it, and Max is 100% understanding, which I liked, but also felt a little weird, because it means that every time they sort of rub against each other, I keep on thinking, but Max is so understanding. Shouldn't he also understand this?
The thing is what this movie should have been about is crossing boundaries, right?
Right.
Because Max mentions very clearly that him and his dad put up boundaries. And over the course of the movie, Goofy just keeps breaking them and crossing those lines. And what this movie should have been about is Goofy learning to respect his son's space and privacy and allowing him to
right,
become
but he
his own
doesn't.
person.
Max just gets rid of him. But the thing is, some of the stuff they're doing is Max really wants to do the X Games, and Goofy's like, no, we're gonna study together. And I know that must suck for Max being in college, but also that's not insane.
But the other problem is Max is never shown having difficulty in his classes.
Well, but Goofy's not shown having difficulty in his classes until he has a fight with Max and goes in a spiral.
And has a fucking mental breakdown that is insane. Yeah. But that's the thing, right, is the only problem in this movie seems to be that they're refusing to talk to each other about anything.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, because didn't we get over that in the last movie? Max isn't a teenager anymore. He's, he still is a teenager, but
he still is a teenager, but he's an adult.
He's an adult, grown-ass man. He's had, years, at least 2 more years since the last movie.
I think 3. Because I think he was 15 in the last movie.
Okay, then yeah, 3 years.
The thing is, like I said, Max is, perfectly reasonable throughout a lot of the movie, and then, pulls weird scams on his dad?
Dad?
Which feels wild!
Yeah, because, it's such a right turn sometimes. It's like I said, this movie lacks a focus. It doesn't quite know what story it wants to tell. So it kind of just does everything at once.
For some reason, really wants to hit this X Games thing.
It really wants to hit this X Games thing, broadcast on ESPN, which, again, I do need to point out. I know why. It's because this was a brand marketing deal, obviously. So that's why it's in there. They kind of still don't focus on it, though, because the X Games are brought up at the beginning of the movie, and then we don't really talk about them again until they start at the climax of the movie.
Well, there's that bit in the middle.
Well, yeah, where they're practicing, right?
No, where they not practicing, but where they
the qualifiers?
Yeah, where they qualify.
I would say that's kind of the climax of the film.
Where the climax starts. That's fair. Want to get to the library?
Yeah, I guess we're there. Oh, sorry. We did not mention that because Goofy hasn't been to college since the 70s, he comes in here.
Oh, that's right.
With the absolute flyest fucking getup. He's got an ascot on, turned to the right. He's got a fucking triangle collared shirt unbuttoned down to the chest, parachute pants, a white suit jacket that's a little too big. Like, he is ready. He even has a afro wig, which is a little much. I do like what Max's line when he gets rid of the wig. He's like, Dad, you're scaring people. Which I also would say to somebody if I took their afro wig away from them.
Goofy really leans into the whole 70s thing, and besides taking away the wig, Max does not do anything else about it. It's like, he's lived with his dad for 18 years. He knows how this goes, probably.
He knows what happens when his dad gets into this kind of a mood. It's like, Dad's back in his 70s phase again.
They go to the library, and Goofy meets a librarian, Sylvia Marple, and they start off the nerdiest romance, which is in itself pretty adorable.
It's kind of awesome.
When they're, meeting each other, and she talks about how she is a big fan of everything 70s.
Yeah.
Does Max, sneak away, and then they get on a date?
Yeah, so Max just leaves, and they just agree to go on a date.
Yeah, and then they go on a date in a nightclub that Max is at. I frankly thought that he would have a bigger problem with Goofy dating.
That's the thing, though, is his mom doesn't fucking exist. So why would he have a problem? This is the part of his mom not existing that really fucking grinds my gears, right? Is like, your parent dating another woman is a big fucking deal. Like, I don't care what your relationship with your parents is. It's gonna affect you, and you're gonna have opinions about it, and they're probably not gonna be positive. Because you have
well, they might be positive, to be fair, but
this woman that Max doesn't know dating his dad!
The fact is, Goofy goes to the same college as Max. Mm-hmm. His girlfriend is the librarian at that college. She's got to be there every day.
Yeah.
And the fact that they never really have a conversation about that it kind of bums me out a little bit. And they even go to apparently the college hangout spot. It's not like they're doing it in secret or keeping it on the down low, so there doesn't need to be the conversation, kind of thing that we talked about earlier.
The whole school knows that Max's dad is dating the librarian.
And Max is 100% cool with it because he figures it'll get Goofy off of his back.
But also, Max should definitely have a bigger problem with it, for all the reasons that we've talked about.
They go to the local club, they convince the DJ to put on some 70s music, and they get down tonight.
Shake Your Groove Thing, which is a really good song.
Oh, they do play Shake
Your Groove Thing. This movie has a lot of licensed music in it. So a lot of the music in this movie is actually really good.
So they do this dance, and like I said before, it reminded me of Kronk's New Groove, but it wasn't terrible.
It wasn't terrible. Good. Well, that's the thing, right, is unlike the relationship between Kronk and whatever the fuck that lady's name was, is that their romance isn't weird. There is no weird sex metaphors happening.
God.
It's just...
I just remember, her bent over and him behind her and them, rolling bread together, and it's, the creepiest goddamn scene.
It was the most uncomfortable thing to watch.
It's, the one thing I remember from that movie now. It's burned into my brain. Because I watched it and I was like, this isn't happening.
If I was watching this movie with my parents, I would feel more uncomfortable watching the scene of them kneading the dough of that bread than an actual sex scene in a movie.
I once watched 40-Year-Old Virgin with my mom, and I wouldn't watch that with her again, but I also would not watch Kronk's New Groove.
Because one is a lot easier to explain your discomfort.
Yeah, one's okay, you know what, we're just gonna have to muscle through this, because...
Nobody wants to be in a room with their parents when sex stuff is happening.
Because, it seemed like a good idea to watch a movie with, what's-his-face in it?
Steve Carell.
With Steve Carell, it seems like a good idea to watch a Steve Carell movie, and now that we're into it, it seems like a bad idea. But, Kronk's New Groove...
It really kind of just hits you out of left field, and at that point you feel trapped. Now everyone's uncomfortable and no one knows how to escape.
But Goofy does not do that, and they have a normal dance.
It's genuinely, a really cool, well choreographed scene. So this dance scene is well animated. It's very well choreographed.
I would say, I would say almost one of my problems with this movie is that it is put together so well.
Yeah.
I think it's a very competently made movie, which is why it's kind of a bummer that it's not that great.
It's one of those things, right, where the movie's animated very well. I would say this is probably one of the best direct-to-video animated sequels we've seen. It's got a lot of polish. It's got a lot of time and effort put into it. The problem is just the script isn't that good. And if you don't have a good script, you don't have a good movie.
In theory, I would be fine with like a romance with the Goofy having a romance, because I just don't think it's happened.
I mean, obviously it has happened before, but
it's happened in this one, but it just wasn't very good, because
I honestly think the romance is fine. It's just that
it wasn't bad, but it wasn't. It also wasn't like the focus.
There's no tension. There's no lead up. It just happens because it has to happen because the script isn't very well written. Yeah. Because Goofy needs somebody to help pick him back up after he has his emotional breakdown.
But this also happens, by the way, that's another reason why it's fucking crazy he went home after failing one test that I guess wasn't even a midterm.
I can't believe he went back to fucking Pete of all people when he had a new girlfriend to talk about.
When he had this new girlfriend who's a librarian, there's like 6 years of school for that.
And listen, someone has to say it, so it's gonna be me. She's way better looking than Pete.
That's true. I would argue that most people are way better looking than Pete.
Yeah. Also, I thought that the house that they were celebrating at was Goofy's house. So when Goofy goes back and Pete's still barbecuing in his backyard, I was like, what the fuck is Pete still doing at Goofy's house?
Maybe it is Goofy's house. I mean, they live next door to each other, right? Maybe he just goes over and uses his barbecue.
Grill?
That seems like a Pete thing.
That does seem like a Pete thing. That's so shitty.
You know what? Headcanon, that's definitely what's happening. Okay, so after the dance, the date continues. They watch the sunrise or sunset, or just stare out at something.
They just look at the moon.
And she says, Goofy, this is the best night of my life. And I thought, wow, low bar. And then Goofy says, mine too. And then I thought, fucking harsh!
He has a son!
Not when my son was born.
Fuck my son!
Not when I met his mother, who presumably existed.
No, my entire life up until this point when I met you has been a fucking sham.
Not on his first day of school. Not the first time he said daddy.
None of it. All of it was for nothing. Yeah, it's kind of hard. If this was a well-written scene, you'd have Max hiding in the bushes, hear that, and go, oh shit.
Not that time that we broke and entered so we could go on stage
with Powerline.
And I did a cool dance move based on a trick with a pole that my dad taught me and really connected with him.
Not those 2 seasons of wacky adventures that we had back in 92. None of it.
Mine too. God damn. It's the sickest bird.
So then, there is a moment where...
He just met this girl. Best night of his life.
There's also a moment where they both, go to hold hands, but then their mood rings start glowing.
Oh my god.
But then they start, wrapping their, pinky fingers around each other, and I was like, this is weird, right? Why can't they just hold hands? So they're dating now.
And now we get to the, qualifiers, right?
Do we? I feel like something else happens.
Does something else happen?
Oh yeah, because he joins the fraternity, remember?
Yes! Yeah, because they were practicing, and Max convinced Goofy to join the fraternity just to get him off of his back, for no other reason.
No. There's another reason.
What's the other reason?
He thinks...
Does he think he'll fail?
No. It's because in his head, not only does he have his dad off of his back, but he also put the burden of Goofy being Goofy onto the fraternity.
Oh, onto other people for one goddamn day.
So he's thinking, oh man, he's just gonna drag him down, because that's what he does to me.
He should know that Goofy effortfully does everything effortlessly. He should know that as soon as he gets on a skateboard, he would fail upward.
I don't think Max understands quite how Goofy's comedy powers work just yet.
Which is too bad, because Max could probably tap into those.
He's a demigod.
So, does Goofy go first or does Max go first? I don't remember.
Goofy goes first.
Goofy goes first. The Moo-Moos put a rocket on his skateboard.
Sorry, the Moo-Moo sounds like a fucking... That sounds like a Japanese idol band, man. This is a bad name. Alright, go on.
I mean, fair. I don't think it's supposed to be a good name. They put the rocket on a skateboard, which is such a blatant way of cheating, because there is smoke coming from it the whole time he's on the skateboard. But he gets, like, perfect 10s, and
No.
nobody notices.
Germany gives him a 9.
Yeah, which is, like, a really funny joke. Like, so funny?
That is a joke that, at the time this movie came out, was about 60 years too old, so...
I don't... The X Games are definitely not judged by
the Olympic Committee
in 4 different countries.
Especially when it seems like this X Games is happening only at this college.
Yep. That would be insane.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, maybe the Olympic Committee needs something to do those 3 other years.
You know what? I actually think they're kind of busy. At least with embezzling money.
Oh, wow. Wow. Way to get real, man.
You know what,
Someone
Andy?
has to embezzle money.
I honestly think that thing I said was an old joke about something that happened in 2008.
No, I think they're constantly under scrutiny.
Goofy gets like a perfect 10 except for the Russian guy or the
Germans.
German guy. Really? German's not Russian?
Right?
Huh?
That's how you know it's too old, that it was the Germans of all people?
That's so weird because it would have been Russians from 1960 onwards.
Right? Oh, yeah, that joke is fucking 60, at this point, like 80 years too late.
So, Max does it. He doesn't do very well. I don't know anything about skateboarding, but I'm pretty sure the first thing you do is wipe out. It doesn't matter what you do from that point, but maybe I'm wrong.
Not necessarily. Skateboarding is ranked and judged very similarly to Olympic figure skating. So, wiping does not necessarily mean that your routine is a failure, as long as you can get back up, commit to the routine, and, finish.
I don't know what it is, man, but I would so rather wipe out on a skateboard than on an ice rink.
I think it's the blades.
Maybe it's the blades, maybe it's because it's a completely flat surface of ice. Maybe it's because when you're skateboarding, you're probably wearing pads.
Oh yeah, that's the
ice
thing.
Skating,
Figure skaters
not.
definitely aren't wearing pads. And it's cold. I feel like it hurts more when you're cold and you get injured.
Well, I just think you're more sensitive because your nerves are already like, damn, it's cold. Well, it doesn't matter. It's kind of... I don't know, I got like an intense fear when you talk about ice skaters, the idea of them wiping out.
I got the privilege isn't the word I'm looking for, but I will say privilege of getting to go onto an ice skating rink and standing on the ice. I say standing because as soon as I put my 2 feet on that shit, I immediately walked back off. No thank you. I do not like the feeling of not having friction between my feet and the ground at all.
Yep. Max finishes and gets like a 6, which isn't great, but he qualifies.
Yeah, he basically just scraped into the finals, I think is the gist of it.
And then I think he blows up at Goofy and tells him to get his own life, which really annoyed me. Because Goofy has? Partially because Max already told him to. He's doing this skateboarding thing because Max told him to. He's got a girlfriend.
Because Max introduced him to her.
And he's not been bothering Max with all the college shit anymore. I get that Max is mad because he did bad, But they haven't been butting heads this movie. They've been getting along fine. This is the first time anything has happened negatively between them.
And it really feels like Max kind of just blows up out of nowhere. Now we're at the test.
Hey, I have a note here. It says, is this a philosophy class or a math class?
I have no idea. I thought it was a Shakespeare class at first. I don't know what this class is for.
There was a question on the test that made me think this is a philosophy class, but before, Goofy said it was a math class.
But then also when he opens up the test, there's math questions on it.
This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, hey, it's an animated movie for kids about college, man.
Okay, I guess every class has exactly the same people in it.
Yep.
This is a 30-person college.
So, we need to talk about Goofy's mental breakdown scene.
Yeah, let's do it.
What the fuck is even happening in this? In the middle of his test, Goofy starts daydreaming.
Even before we get to the breakdown scene, I just want to ask, really, why should he have a breakdown? He's had a great few days, and he had a fight with Max that's not like a new fight.
It's a fight that they've had before. I assume it's a fight that they've had a lot.
Right. It seems like something that probably pops up a bit between a parent and their kids, Oh, you're getting too much in my life. Goofy, who I know is goofy, but is still supposed to be like a well-rounded individual who can lead a normal life, shouldn't be having a breakdown here.
Yeah, this movie really makes it seem like Goofy's entire existence revolves around Max. But the thing is even if that's true, that shouldn't literally be true.
Even if his existence does revolve around Max, you can have a fight with your kid, and then it'll be fine once everybody's cooled down. The great thing about having a family is there's never going to be a point where you're not family anymore. Unless you've killed someone.
I feel like you're still family at that point. There's just nothing you can do about the situation anymore.
But the thing is, Max isn't going to be mad forever. And Goofy's not an idiot. He should be smart enough to know that. And I don't get why he's freaking out. It's like he's the college-age kid here, you know?
The beginning of the breakdown has all of these bad things in his life that have happened as a result of the beginning of this movie. And Pete also there. Which means Goofy subconsciously understands that Pete is a bad influence.
Oh, sure. Definitely.
It doesn't make sense from what the plot has set up for Goofy to be the one to... Like, if anyone's supposed to have a breakdown, it's Max.
Because he just lost that
he lost
competition.
Yeah, he lost the competition.
Because he came in second to his dad.
Dad,
who is GG Goof.
Yeah. He had this entire plan, right, for what his college career was going to be. And now, for the rest of his life, he's going to be known, or at least his college life, he's going to be known as Goofy's son. Again. And he does have a breakdown, but we don't get to see it. We just get to see him get picked back up again. So let's talk about this fucking weird-ass, trip-ass scene, because every time I see it, I don't understand why it's there.
Alright, let's talk about this weird-ass, trip-ass scene. You're gonna have to lead. It's been a little while, and it was weird.
So, Goofy starts first hallucinating that everything around him is his son, Max, I think. Something along those lines.
Typical.
But then, this super groovy hippie Goof appears out of his pencil eraser and starts guiding him on this, like, journey of what a good father he is. And then he's sitting across a picnic table from Max as a kid, but then it turns into adult Max, but super buff like the Hulk. And he destroys the picnic table and throws Goofy into a white abyss. And Goofy looks up, and at the very top of the abyss, almost so far away that he can't see them, is Max and Groovy Goofy. And Groovy Goofy is, like, waving at him with his fingers, like, this is how you die, motherfucker. And Max says, you need to get your own life, and slams the door, and Goofy's trapped in this white abyss, alone, and forever alone. And then he's woken up by the professor telling him that the test is over. What the First of all, the weirdest part of everything is this Groovy Goofy, right?
Groovy Goofy.
What is this? Why did this scene happen?
I can't get over. Supposedly he just had the best night of his life.
It's like not 2 days ago.
That's like, come on, man. Why is he having a breakdown now?
See,
why is his breakdown? You don't think Buff Max is weirder?
You know, here Buff Max is weird, but at least that has a place.
A parallel,
yeah,
sort of.
Groovy Goofy just kind of literally appears out of his pencil, man. Like, what? I've seen Falling Down. What happens after this scene is Goofy snaps and commits murder.
Who's he murder?
Probably Pete, honestly.
Okay! Man, for some reason he wasn't on my list, but that's 100% who to go for.
Right? Because he went all the way back home. He had the shovel in the back seat already.
Right, he went back home. Why else
would he do that? But then, Pete got real lucky.
It's a good thing he remembered that metaphor with the horseshoe. Or Pete would have been murdered!
Pete would have been 6 feet in the ground, and people wouldn't have found his body for months.
Did I ever tell you the best way to get rid of a body?
Why would you ever tell me that? Why is this information you know?
I think it was from a Squirrel Girl comic.
Oh.
It was in the bottom, where Ryan North was talking about the best way to get rid of a body, and he said for some reason all of his friends already knew this, and he was really concerned about it.
Oh, man.
Best way to get rid of a body is apparently to go to the graveyard where there's a newly dug grave, dig it a couple feet lower, drop the body in, and then dump some dirt on top.
And then put the grave back.
And then, like, tomorrow or something, they'll put in the body that's supposed to be there, and nobody will ever know.
I feel like Ryan North doesn't have everything to worry about, because he too damn tall for this plan to work.
That's right. They have to wait till somebody really
tall dies. So that's the thing. I feel like Ryan North has a lucky break that all of his friends have this foolproof plan, but it doesn't quite work on him.
That could only kill everyone else.
Yeah, I think he's safe for now. I think he just needs to keep an eye out when the newspapers are like, strangely tall man dies. He's like, oh no.
NBA superstar bites it.
He's like, oh shit, if anyone's gonna do it, now's the time. Time for me to go on another weird extended vacation with my dog. It was Scotland last time. Maybe this time I'll go farther.
Yep.
Goofy fails his test. Again, I don't really know what test it is.
Yeah, it's unclear, and I thought it was a midterm. Didn't they say it was a midterm? But then he has his midterm later.
Maybe they have, like, multiple weeks of midterms? I don't know, man. It doesn't make any sense. He fails one of his tests, but then, in his grief, he goes back home and forgets that he was supposed to have dinner with Miss Marple, who is waiting for him at her house and is distraught.
Yeah, she's, like, baked him a cake or baked him dinner.
She put up a banner.
She has a banner.
That looks suspiciously like the one Goofy hung up at the beginning of the movie.
Suspiciously?
Yeah, because I thought the one at the beginning of the movie was homemade, but I guess not.
Oh.
So Goofy goes back home and has a conversation with Pete. Pete, in an effort to cheer Goofy up, tells Goofy that getting a college degree is worthless and pointless, and starts throwing horseshoes at the stake, missing completely. Goofy has a eureka moment, and he realizes that his problem is that he hasn't been focusing on the things that are important to him. Like his new girlfriend. He lost his focus on his super hot girlfriend and his son.
And instead he was focusing on stuff that didn't matter, like the one thing he was doing that wasn't those things.
I guess.
Which was literally one time getting on a skateboard.
Yeah, it's kind of weird though, because the thing is he wasn't actually focused on that. He was still very much focused on the other two things.
Well, but he lost focus by participating. Here's the thing. When he really lost focus was when he had a goddamn mental breakdown for no reason.
He goes back and apologizes to Miss Marple. She forgives him and helps him study for his next
big of a really
test. I know, right?
She doesn't need to. He went home. Like, the fact that he didn't say goodbye, the fact that he just ghosted her is crazy.
Oh, yeah, that's so fucked up. You don't do that shit.
There are times when you can do that. Like, let's say, you're dating somebody who it turns out is violent. Or you're dating somebody who cheated on you and you're not, you don't want to have a fight, you just want to leave. Sure. Go ahead. They haven't earned the respect that has that conversation.
Okay, I understand that, but I feel like those are
this good person that he left behind for no fucking reason.
She forgives him, which is very high and mighty of her. But how could she say no to those eyes?
No, just look like everybody else's eyes. It's a cartoon.
And she helps him study for his next round of tests. And we get a montage of Goofy doing exercises with books.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I get why it's there, but also I don't understand why it's there.
It's like Rocky, but with studying. You get it.
It's literally that, yeah. And he passes his midterms. Yay.
I actually don't think he does the stairs thing.
He does do the stairs things on his way to the test, remember?
Does he? Okay.
On his way up the stairs to the test, he's doing the punching thing. I don't think he does the thing where he stands at the top, but he does punch his way up the stairs. It's definitely a reference. It's just not the reference that everyone makes.
Yeah, so then I think he just has his midterms and passes them, and then we're on to the next thing.
Yeah, which is he has decided to quit the fraternity. And the fraternity is like, yeah, we quit you.
Well, they get like really up in his face about it, and this has been in the movie that I really liked, where like they're all up in his face, and he's like, man, I'm an adult, man. And that was like it.
Right, and that's the thing, right? Like, I feel like anyone else in this situation...
Like, nobody quits us. And he's like, I am.
I'm in my 50s, man. I can quit whatever the fuck I want. And still get early breakfast tomorrow morning for half off. Like, what are you talking about?
I'm so spooked about these rich college kids. What are you gonna do? Get me fired?
Ooh, I already got fired.
I got nothing to lose, motherfuckers.
And everything to gain with your deaths. What?
What?
Ignore that part. It's also one of those things that, like, just let him leave. What part? Why do you need him?
I guess because they want to humiliate Max.
Yeah, I guess he adds, like, an extra layer of humiliation.
But, like, he quits, and, like, the thing that they should have done is been like, oh, okay. I mean, we had a 50-year-old man on the team, which, in retrospect, was weird.
Of us. Hanging out.
Yeah, of us. And a little bit of you, frankly, and the fact that you saw it first.
Wait, okay. So this movie was made in 2000, so this doesn't count. If this movie were made today, though, Tony Hawk is 52, and I would still totally hang out with Tony Hawk.
Goofy did fantastic on the skateboard.
Exactly, is what I'm saying.
But, like, if you're hanging out with Tony Hawk and you're like, you gotta be on our team, and he was on your team and he's like, I gotta quit, then I also think you kind of be like, well, okay.
Yeah, you're Tony Hawk. You can do whatever you want, man. Like, you're a grown man and I'm a child.
That's the thing, right?
Oh, I would
never. People, like, how old could these kids be? Like, 20, 21?
Yeah, at most, maybe 23. In which case, they are huge fucking losers, man. Like, to be that old and care about the X Games, like, get your degree. What are you doing? Graduate and become an adult? Freaking children. What losers.
Well, these are the rich kids. They never really have to earn their degree.
That's true, but they could at least buy their way
topical!
Out. Oh, wow, yeah, that's right, I forgot about that. Well, they could have at least bought their degree a while ago, then.
By the way, when that news dropped, I felt like such a cynical bastard, because I was like, yeah, though, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah, no, I
knew.
totally wasn't surprised either. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Cheating on standardized testing? Yeah, of course they would do that.
Harvard accepted money to have rich kids at the school?
I can't believe it. I love how it was such a big scandal. How all of the news...
You know what? Honestly, I love how it's such a big scandal. I love how it's such a big deal and people are taking it seriously. But honest to God, I just thought everybody knew it was happening.
But that's the thing, right? Is I feel like the only people who are surprised are other rich people. Everyone else is like, yeah, we've been new. Like,
yeah, everybody's got to deal with fucking rich kids who just buy their way into the school.
But I love that because other rich people are so scandalized by it that in their head they're just thinking, you mean I could have bought my child's success this whole time for real? Like, they're probably just mad that they didn't get in on it first. But maybe that's just the cynic in me.
Yeah.
Right? Because, I also was kind of like, duh.
Yeah, obviously. That's why this movie exists. Because, of course, the rich kids, already have everything. That's how it works.
And they can focus on beating the X Games unfairly.
And Goofy finds out they're cheating before he leaves.
Yeah, so Goofy finds out they're cheating before he leaves, and goes to warn Max. And it's the day of the X Games. Max is still mad at Goofy. We do need to go back a little bit, because we briefly touched on it, but we didn't talk about it. So Max is super down in the dumps about being up by his dad, that he goes and buys a coffee, wearing a leather jacket, and is like, I'm skipping town, you guys. I can't do this anymore. I need to go find my own way, get on the open road, and find out who I really am. This college ain't big enough for two goofs. Which I think is a line that he actually says.
I think that is a line that he says. He definitely doesn't say open road, though, because that was the song in the last one.
Damn it. Yeah, that's right. And all of his friends are like, what are you talking about, man? And they psych him up. Jazz woman psychs him up.
Yeah, jazz poet woman. And the thing is, that's the thing. I really wish she had a name, because she does have a not terrible scene here. It wouldn't have been hard to make her a character for real.
All they had to do was just give her a name and
just give her a fucking name
and have the character say it. Like, yeah, name is right.
Thank you, Jacqueline. That's it.
Ah, that would have been a good name too. She looks like
that's
a Jacqueline.
all anybody needed.
It would have been so easy. I do want to do a quick aside here. It would have been hilarious if somehow her character was Roxanne, and Roxanne goes to college with Max and is still, like, preppy, but then somehow in the middle of the movie she becomes jazz poet. And the movie doesn't talk about it, doesn't mention it, she just is now.
What if she was in the movie about as much as a jazz poet? You see her at the beginning, and she sort of disappears for a little bit, and then when she comes back, that'd be great.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Then it's like, oh, she had her own movie.
It's fucking weird that Roxanne's not in this movie.
And she, again, not even mentioned.
The more we go on into the movie, the more it's like,
why?
Why isn't this character that was such a big
deal
in this movie literally at all.
You would think if you sat down at a meeting and somebody said, we need to make a sequel to a Goofy movie, the first thing you're putting up on that board is, like, what is Roxanne's role in this movie? Because she was such a big character in the last one. Are we going to bring Powerline back?
No. I mean, no,
obviously not, but... You know, those are the two big ones. Because obviously Pete and PJ have to come back. Like, fucking, again, Robbie made the cut.
That's so weird. It's so weird they have Robbie and not Roxanne.
Because Robbie has less lines in the last movie than Roxanne.
Yeah, I think he's just in the beginning, and he has about 4 lines.
No, he has one line at the end when they're watching the concert where he goes, "That's Max! I know him!" So he has 5 lines.
It's weird. It's just weird.
It's very odd.
It's too bad that this movie drops so many balls. Because there are many parts of the movie that are quite good and funny and really redeemable. But then it's like the shit that's supposed to be bad isn't that bad. And then it's like the big thing is the X Games that we're about to get into. And like... who cares?
Again,
honestly,
I have a hard time imagining anybody caring in 2000, honestly, because at that point, I think the X Games was already been around for a couple of years.
Just the idea, I understand the pitch, right? It's like Max goes to college, but then Goofy has to go to college, and of course he goes to the same one. Yeah, I get it. That's a decent pitch.
That's still a pretty good pitch if we were going to make that movie today.
But the fact that they gave him a romance, the romance was pretty good. They didn't have Pete, and I think they could have more Pete.
Yeah, maybe Pete also could have gone back to college. Or he could have just had a job as a professor in the business course.
Oh, what if... Okay, so in the beginning, Goofy gets fired from his toy-making job instead of his other job that he canonically had. What if in the beginning, that Sears closed, right? They both lose their jobs. Goofy ends up going back to college, and Pete ends up as like a gym teacher or something.
Oh my god, yeah. Pete's a gym teacher. Oh, yes.
Because gym teachers can be sort of
assholes.
Casually cruel.
Yeah, they can be casually abusive.
And then PJ and Max could have a conversation about how their fucking dads are at the school. Man, it would not take too much to clean this movie up, honestly.
Where the last movie needed maybe a couple more minutes, this movie I think does need you need to go back to the pitch, right?
You need to just clear out the X Games stuff.
It doesn't need to be there. I get why they did it, because skateboarding was again at its heyday, but just get rid of it, man. It doesn't add anything to the story. The bit between the ESPN commentator and the other one,
where he keeps cutting away from the
the one on the ground, that is funny. But again, we don't need it. As funny as it is, it doesn't add anything to the movie.
What if the plot was Goofy starts this new romance, and also Max finds out that Roxanne, who maybe they broke up during high school, is going to this college?
Oh, man. There's a lot that this movie could have done with the premise Goofy goes to the same college as Max.
College Max.
That's such a fresh, good premise. And then this movie decided to focus on skateboarding for some reason.
What really bothers me is I can't bring myself to say that this is like a genuinely bad movie, because it has good stuff in it.
I genuinely enjoyed watching it. That's the thing,
I liked watching this stupid X Games.
Yeah, the X Games.
That was dumb.
It was dumb, but it was fun.
I liked it.
There was like dumb bits about all of the ridiculous ways the fraternity was cheating. Those were funny.
Goofy with the teddy bear is probably the most emotional scene out of either of the movies.
Definitely. It lasts like 2 seconds, but it hits hard and it gets across the point very clearly. This movie has higher highs than the first one, but it also has lower lows.
It's got lower lows.
And it's also just not as focused. I like the premise. I like evil fraternities. I think that's always going to be a fun thing to add to your college movies. But fuck, man, all this skateboarding shit. I also like the conclusion, which we will get to soon.
Yeah, so it's the X Games. Goofy tries to tell Max about the cheating, and Max is not hearing it because he's still pissed.
He doesn't want to talk to his dad.
It was kind of weird to me that the other two didn't pick up any of that, because, like, they're not mad at Goofy.
Yeah, right. You would think Goofy would at least be like, hey, keep an eye on Max. I think the other guys are going to try to sabotage him.
And so Goofy goes to the stands, and I guess the Moo-Moos and Max have been neck and neck this whole time. Because they're at the final event, which is a triathlon, which is going to be a triathlon with roller skates, skateboard, and bike. Which is fine, I guess. I don't know if there's a triathlon like that, but it makes sense for the movie. Robbie gets murdered.
He literally dies. We never see him again.
There are a couple times, and we're going to go to another bit by the end of this movie, where it seems like somebody has literally died.
There is a point in this movie where somebody almost does literally die, and I was like, whoa, this movie went from 0 to 60 a little too fast.
Yeah, coming up on that bit too. So, Robbie gets, they like mess with his skates and he flies?
No, wait, this is PJ, not Robbie.
Okay. Robbie?
It's PJ, and I do have to point out, that's also fucking crazy. They could have gotten rid of Robbie right here, but no, they got rid of PJ? Why?
Wait, does Robbie start off on this race?
Yeah, Robbie makes it to the bikes.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah,
Wild.
They attach rockets to PJ's skates and literally like launch him into the moon.
Yeah, PJ dies.
But he comes back like Superman.
He dies for 3 days. And then, you're not gonna believe what happens. You're not gonna believe it. There are people I could get in trouble with for that one. Max realizes they can't compete if they don't have 3 people, so he calls his dad. Goofy hears the call and starts charging for the,
He starts running towards his son and fails his way uphill, like you said.
Yep.
Literally, though. By the way, I do like the line that the referee has here, where he's like, wait. Still got, my watch says they still got 5 seconds left. So Goofy gets there like just in the nick of time, and the upper crust is like, come on, they ran out of time. The ref's like, not by my watch. I really like that line. This is a good way of like writing a joke, right? Set up, climax, punchline.
Sure, but like here's the thing that struck me there. In what universe does rich asshole guy win that argument? This event is being televised on 2 ESPN stations.
Oh, right.
What are the chances they're gonna say,
God.
Yeah, you know what? Let's not do the final event. You're right.
You're right. Let's not give the people what they want.
Let's just end this here.
By forfeit. Yeah, no, that's crazy. Yeah, sorry. That doesn't sell. That
doesn't make any goddamn sense.
God. Now, here's the thing, right? Imagine... I'm not the kind of guy who pays money to watch ESPN, but imagine if you did, right? And one day on both ESPN 1 and 2 is the same shitty skating X Games competition localized at a single college. Can't believe I paid this much money to watch this, but I guess this is what I'm doing today. And then, at the very end, a team wins by forfeit?
And then what happens? Then they have to cut away to talking about it for half an hour before the next thing comes out.
Yeah, like, I paid fucking, like, I don't know how much ESPN costs, but a lot of money.
Yeah.
Horse shit. No, thank you. We gotta make up this time. So Goofy's on the team.
They're off.
And they're off to the races.
And I have literally never seen less subtle cheating, but I guess it's sort of the point. There's a lot of rockets involved in the way the Moo-Moos cheat.
I feel like they are definitely chemical engineers.
You know what? They're not bad scientists,
yeah,
I guess.
They're not bad scientists, they're just kind of bad people. But by the end of the race, it's just Max and Tank are making their way towards the finish line.
Right, Goofy has fallen behind.
And Upper Crust has...
And kind of taken out Upper Crust with him.
Upper Crust is wiped. Upper Crust goes to sabotage Max.
He goes to sabotage both of them.
Yeah.
Because he says if I can't win, nobody wins.
Yeah, so he's basically just hanging them both out to dry at this point.
Yeah. And he gets them into like a fiery crash. Gosh, what do they crash into? Because it's like a building type thing. Or like something falls on them?
Oh, it was the giant X Games, like,
yes.
X.
Yeah, so like the giant X Games X. So they're like trapped in a fire.
And this scene is like pretty raw. Like, Goofy has to...
The rest of the movie has not built it up for this to happen.
Yeah, it seriously is just like an intense action movie sequence.
We remember when the fire happened in, like, Lion King, or Bambi, or even, like, Bolt.
Or the Balto. Oh, you mean Bolt?
No, I meant Bolt.
Bolt.
The one with the small dog.
Can you say it one more time?
Bolt?
Yeah, Bolt.
B-O-L-T. I guess yes. I did say it kind of bout.
Yeah, you really put a lot of A into it, which is why I was confused. I was like, you mean Balto? Was there a fire in Balto? I don't think so. No, there wasn't. God, you really think there would be, though, huh? Maybe there's one in the third one. We'll never know.
The plane crashes. Come on.
We'll never know. We'll never know, Tony.
I actually recently made a list of movies I want to watch for this show, and that was not on it.
Oh, thank God. I do think he would kill us. Max is caught between what he wants and being a good person, because Tank is trapped, and he's calling out for help. Oh, also, Tank is the big, buff right-hand man, and he's actually voiced by Brad Garrett.
We haven't really talked about Tank because this is the only moment where he gets to be a real character.
Yeah.
He's just Upper Crustington's bodyguard, basically. So Max saves this guy from the fire. I forget who actually finishes.
Max wins.
Max finishes, okay. That's what I thought. But Bradley is so mad that his friend survived the fiery crash that he started. And I was looking at this guy, I'm like, this is a murderer now.
Yeah, this man has shown that he is willing to commit murder.
And then my next note was, oh my God, he's going to try to kill again. and then what happened was, what the hell was the big guy's name?
Tank.
He punches the dude into the sun.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, I guess he won't try to kill again because he is dead now.
He is dead now. He has joined PJ up in the sky. But unlike PJ, he won't be coming back after the third day.
Cool, sticking on that one, huh?
I'm just doing the callback, right? I'm not the one who set it up. So
if we offend enough people, we'll get popular.
Hey Tony, I wash my hands of it. So
okay.
Oh damn it. Okay, so
oh, that's too. I gotta get off.
Oh,
that's too much.
Man, that's real good. So
holy crap.
We kind of, at this point, crossfade to graduation. Kind of as an apology for being a shitty son for no reason, Max gives his dad the grand prize trophy. And on it is a callback to the first movie, the line that Goofy said, which is, no matter how much you grow up, you'll always be my boy. Which I thought was cute. I thought it was a real good callback to the first movie. I think if you were going to do it, that would be the way to do it.
And again, the graduation scene is also pretty good. Like, there are bits in this movie, not even bits. There are scenes in this movie that work and scenes that don't. It's got like half a good movie here, at least.
The thing is, I think that's the thing about this movie that keeps kind of coming back to me is the parts of this movie that I really like, and the parts of this movie that I don't like, I don't hate.
Yeah, it's like the parts of the movie that I don't like are, again, the X Games stuff, which just feels like a weird product of its time. Or the fact that this jazz poetry coffee house exists, which I feel like I would have liked better if they'd if they just leaned into it.
If they had leaned into it super hard. What if the whole movie was just Max becoming a weird hippie poet?
Well, what if, like, whenever something happened, they ended up meeting at this
coffee house?
Like it was fucking Friends.
Oh, I see. I will say, that's a coffee house I would go buy coffee at. I wouldn't stay there for longer than 10 minutes, but...
Yeah, it seems like it would get...
a little much. It'd be a little much at times.
The atmosphere might get a bit stuffy.
It might be a bit, a little,
You can only take so much napping.
I was never a fan of West Side Story, so, yeah, I'd probably not. Like I said, I'd buy coffee there, but I wouldn't stick around.
Goofy drives off with his girlfriend.
Also, fuck bongos. What a terrible instrument.
Hashtag fuck bongos. If we get hate for this episode, it's gonna be about the bongo thing. Is it gonna be about the bongos?
Yeah. It's such a vague hate, I guess. You know what? Sure.
So, Goofy and his girlfriend drive off, which is a decent end to the movie. I feel like a bit more of a cap could have been put on the Max thing, but also... it's clearly not the end of Max's story, at least on his college story.
Yeah, because it's the first year of his college career.
Yeah, so maybe it makes sense that his bit doesn't seem to end like Goofy's does.
I don't think there were ever plans to make a third movie, but...
I mean, I don't think it's too terrible that it doesn't feel like Max's story had a good ending, because, like, whatever, man.
Yeah, but
he just started college.
Yeah, and it's definitely, as weird as it is, it also kind of makes sense because Max kind of does get shafted for the whole movie. Like, he's not really the main character.
This movie is a lot more about Goofy than the other one was. The other one, I feel like... maybe the other one was a little bit more about Max than it was about Goofy, but it was about their relationship. And this one, because Goofy had so much other shit going on, was not...
I think that's our verdict, right? Like, these are both... I think these are both good movies. I think they're both definitely earned the reputation that they've gotten over the years.
Yeah, I would watch either of these movies again.
Definitely.
And probably enjoy it.
Yeah, I'd have a good time with either of them.
And yes, I would join in I imagine, millions of people in being confused about the fact that Roxanne is not in the second movie.
Yeah, right? I'm all about it, as well.
Thank you for listening to Direct to Video.
VHS?
VHS?
Huh?
Yeah. I've been your host, Tony Robusto.
I've been your host, Andy Reyes.
You can find me on Twitter at TheaterBats, and you can find the comic that I do at inspiredbytrueevents.org.
And you can find me on Twitter at royalty_valens. That's it. That's all I do right now.
Boring.
Yeah, you know.
You can find other stuff with our podcast on a website I should probably update slightly more often, called direct2.video.
Mm-hmm. All things direct to video on that website.
And here's something important that I just learned. If you're listening to this podcast and you're thinking, why are there only 10 episodes? You need to subscribe. Because iTunes only shows the last 10 unless you've subscribed.
This goes to show how little I've used iTunes Podcatcher, but that's ridiculous. That's kind of messed up.
I think it's just with smaller podcasts.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
But
yeah.
we qualify.
Okay, yeah, yes, definitely. All right, yeah. We'll start putting that out there. We haven't said this in a while, but we might as well start saying it again because it doesn't hurt. Definitely start giving us 5-star reviews. And
do it.
Feel free to contact us at our email, which is
mail@direct2.video.
Yeah, give us recommendations for movies, give us complaints. I say us. You're giving them to Tony, and I guess Tony gets to decide what he thinks is worthy of my attention.
If you're sending something about how much you love Andy, but you don't want me to see it, don't send it.
Yeah, just send it to me on Twitter. Okay, let me say this. If you want to let me know how much you hate me, send that to me on Twitter. Or how much you think my opinion is dumb, send that to me on Twitter. I will definitely see it there. I will not see it if it's in an email. Or at least it won't stick with me as long.
I think we've hammered down the email thing. The hell else do we do? Thanks to Lee Rosenberg.
That's it. That's all we need to do. Thank him for
Planet E off the album Trappist 1.
That's it.
So, what are we going to watch next time, Andy?
Next week, we are watching Dinosaurs and The Good Dinosaur, a podcast episode 50 million years in the making. And stop recording.
I'm the ghost of John Smith. Man,
God.
Fuck you.
No, man, I'm done. I'm internet dead.
Also known as Spider Baby and Baby Head, is the leader of the Mutant Toys in Sid's room.
They're called the Mutant Toys? Wait a minute, I just realized something. Why the fuck don't we have a movie about the Mutant Toys in Sid's room?
Why don't we? They're so cool.
God damn it, Pixar, this is some fucking free shit.
Personality, creepy but friendly and helpful. Oh, that's great. Appearance, big doll head attached to spider-like legs and 2 claws. Blind in the right eye. Alignment good. Goal to defeat Sid and stop his torture of the other toys. Hey, guys, Babyface is awesome.